Tough way to end a remarkable season for the Chicago Bears. It is awfully quiet in the Xfinity Loft right now. That's all right. We're going to find a way to have fun here over the next couple hours because tonight sucked, but there were still some good moments, and it was a great season. And we're here for you guys that want to go through some Bears therapy tonight. The good news is we're good at that. We've been through a lot of that here in this room. So we're here for you. Don't go anywhere. CHGO Bears Postgame starts right now.
Welcome in to the CHGO Bears Postgame Show for the final time of the 25 season from the Xfinity Loft, where we've been all afternoon. Thank you to those who watched our watch-along, our pregame show, and now here for the postgame show. Proudly presented by our friends at Bet365. Download the app, deposit $10, make a bet for $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets when you use the code CHGO365. And by our friends at Toyota. Let's go places. Bears lose to the Rams in overtime, 20-17. The roller coaster ride of a season that was oh so unbelievably thrilling has sadly come to an end. I think we're obviously all feeling it right now. I'm sure you are too. Mark Carman, Adam Hoge, Corey Wootton, and Greg Braggs Jr. Hoge, you want to start us off, or should we do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get our Adam Hoge instant reaction brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Here we go for the final time of 2025.
I got to be honest with you. I need to go on a little rant here for a second. I can't wait. Let's go.
Look, no doubt the tough way to end a remarkable season, and it's kind of like the good juju and the vibes just sort of ran out there. You still got the amazing, improbable play to Cole Kmet right after Colson Loveland leaves the game with, we don't know what the injury it is, but we saw his head kind of hit the turf pretty hard there. And, I'm sure we'll all talk about it. I didn't hate going for overtime there, and the Bears certainly had their chance in overtime. You can't turn the ball over for the third time. It's tough to win a game -3. It's also tough to win a game when sort of the stat I'm focused on tonight is the Bears had 7 possessions in this game where they could have taken the lead, and they scored on one of them, and that was the field goal before halftime, which then they gave right back before halftime actually came. So there were just so many missed opportunities. I thought the offense really spoiled a great effort from the defense tonight. What the defense did against Matthew Stafford and a high-powered Rams offense, despite not getting the takeaways in the last 2 games, the defense kind of answered those calls. All they do is get takeaways. Man, they did a good job the last 2 weeks. If you just at least take the fourth quarter of last week and then this entire game, they did what they needed to do, and the offense just wasn't able to take advantage. Too many turnovers. Interceptions were killer tonight. For whatever the reasons were, whoever to blame, you just can't do it. And, even if you want to include that last possession of regulation where they technically could have gone for 2 as an opportunity to take the lead, then it's still 2 for 8, and it's not good enough. So I just thought really just too many missed opportunities in a game, and eventually you just kind of had to know that was going to catch up to you. In the end, though, remarkable season for the Bears. There's a lot to be excited about going forward. Not sure if everybody wants, that spin zone tonight, but I do think fans feel that deep down, that this was a year that, even though it ends in tough fashion, is going to be remembered for a long, long time. And there's a lot to be proud of with this team. Tonight sucks the way they lost, but still a good year, and there's a lot to be excited about going into 2026.
Yeah, obviously phenomenal season, and we'll celebrate it a bunch in the weeks to come as we get ready for heading out to the Super Bowl and eventually the draft and free agency and all the things. What hurts about tonight is that was a winnable game. You were at home and the Rams didn't play well. You held Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford tonight was 20 of 42. That's by far his lowest completion percentage on the year. It's a hell of a job by the defense. You had the weather conditions that you were looking for. You had opportunities in short yardage a bunch tonight that just you were not able to. You just couldn't take advantage of it. I mean, the touchdown pass to Cole Kmet was like that might be the greatest throw in Bears history. But before that, you had first and goal at the 6, and you didn't get in. There's just and to have the ball at midfield in overtime, you're 20 yards away from being in position to kick a field goal to win the game. To be that close, football's a mean game, and it's you never know what's going to be in a season. So unbelievable year, but at the end, you did let an opportunity to go further slip through your hands.
Yeah, I mean, incredible season. I don't think anyone, when the season started, we've talked about this, thought the Bears could go this far. On any given Sunday, we thought, hey, they'll keep it close, they'll go up and down, they'll find a way to claw and scratch back, and they did that again tonight. And I honestly think this game came down to a couple plays here or there. And I think Ben Johnson, honestly, was a little bit too aggressive early on. You think about it, if one of those red zone drives, we kicked the field goal, especially when it was on the 21-yard line. I'm cool with all the other ones, right? When you're on the 3, you're on the 2, going for it. But think about a situation when you're on the 21. Cairo Santos is automatic. Yeah. The game's over after that Cole Kmet catch, right? Bears win by 3 at that point. So I think, maybe it's a learning lesson for Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell had the same thing a couple years ago when they played in San Francisco. Right, being too aggressive, they probably should have won that one. But this is a game where they outgained the Rams, that high-powered offense, right? They outrushed them, outpassed them. The only thing was the turnover battle. Caleb's got to clean some things up, but I think the sky's the limit for him. I mean, obviously, he plays hero ball a little bit too much. He's got to clean up some of the accuracy issues. Receivers got to catch the ball. But I think this was an incredible season to build off. Obviously, a couple plays here or there, like I talked about, but, I mean, this was unbelievable. I mean, they had the whole city rocking and vibing, and it was on fire. So, yes, a couple plays here or there, we'd be looking at the NFC Championship. But back to the drawing board. There's a lot to build off, a lot of positions that need some upgrades, defensive line, etc. But incredible season, and definitely happy for Ben Johnson and his team. And, obviously you never want to be happy in a loss, but they exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it has been a special year. I mean, obviously, I'm heartbroken. I mean, this is to go down to the wire like that, to have the ball in scoring range, you're about to get into field goal position and you turn the ball over. It's heartbreaking. The Bears had a chance to move on to the NFC Championship here in Ben Johnson's first year, but ultimately you have to take a step back and be proud of this team. There's no doubt about that. And you can talk about missed opportunities all you want, but if you're going to say that this is their one and only chance, then you don't really believe in what's going to come here in the future with Ben Johnson and these Chicago Bears, and I do, quite frankly. So I know next year feels a long ways away, and it certainly is. That being said, this team has shown you this year time and again what is to come for the future, and that's a team that's never going to quit. And they didn't again tonight, all the way until the final whistle of regulation. And so now what is the task for Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles this offseason? Leave nothing to be denied. You played 10 games this year that were coin flips at the end of the game, and you had some miracle wins. You almost had another one here tonight. But when Ben Johnson walked into this, into Hallis Hall, he said he wanted to dominate teams. Well, next year is your opportunity to start dominating. You won this year. You won the NFC North. You won a playoff game at home. You beat the Packers twice. You have a lot to be proud of. And now next year, no more messing around. You got to go bolster up this defensive line. You got to figure out what you're going to do in your secondary. You got to continue to get things cleaned up on offense, because as what we're talking about, anybody that's going to point to the Bears season and call it an outlier of a year, I will say this team could be even better next year. because next year, yeah, you might not get as many turnovers, but I could argue with a pass rush, you might play with more consistency on defense. And after a second year of Ben Johnson in this offense, you get a whole offseason to get things cleaned up and play more consistently on offense. And that's essentially what this team needs, is consistency. So tonight they didn't have that, and that's what bit them in the butt. They weren't able to pull a rabbit out of their hat one more time to get to the NFC Championship game. But it's not going to take anything away from what this team's accomplished this year. But now next year, leave nothing to be denied.
Yeah, I think my mind keeps going back to the offense and all the missed opportunities. And I think if we really zoom out, and I've been talking about this now for a few weeks on this show about the disparity between, and I know people sometimes make fun of me for all the advanced metrics, so I apologize. But the reality is these are pretty simple ideas. You have expected points added, which is every time you run a play, are you increasing your chances of scoring or not? Yeah. And then you have success rate. Was it a successful play or not? So the divide between where the Bears are from an EPA standpoint, their top 10 offense, there's a lot to be happy about with that. There's a lot for us to talk about all offseason to be like, Ben did that in one offseason. And, that's something to be really proud of and excited about for the future, despite the fact that from a success standpoint, they were really in the 20s. They weren't actually running the amount of successful plays that you would want for a top 10 team. So if you want to look at that optimistically, you go, well, if they can fix some of these missed opportunities that they've had throughout the season, they could be more like the Lions were, where they were top 3 EPA. And I think that's on the table next year. I really do. But if you really zoom out and look at the whole season, it was kind of bound to come back and bite them, that they were just going to have too many of these moments in one game. And I can look at Ben Johnson's decision-making on fourth down. I totally agree. The one I'm totally on board with, they should have kicked the field goal early in that game. Over. I think sometimes when he has a missed opportunity, like Rome dropping that touchdown catch on the first drive, it kind of emotionally gets to him to be like, we got to salvage this drive. We got to get a touchdown here. When sometimes you just got to take your points. Correct. Take your medicine. Now, all the ones near the goal line, I have more of a problem with the play calling than the fourth down decision. That one at the end of the game, who's your best player? Who's Iceman? Who's the guy that's gotten you down here? And I realize he wasn't having his best game of the season, but you ran the ball 3 times with DeAndre Swift. Not a single one of them went to Monungai in a tight yardage situation. And instead, you don't put the ball in Caleb's hands until fourth down. And then they made a nice play on that play. There were too many drops. Okay? And then Caleb had his fair share of problems too tonight. And the one that bothered me more than the other than the interceptions was when the first down marker's right in front of him and he somehow runs a half yard short. I just don't get that. Yeah. But it's been an issue here and there throughout the season, so we shouldn't necessarily be surprised by it now. So there's a lot to work on in the offseason. But there's a lot of evidence that shows that from year 1 to year 2 in this offense, they're going to be that much better next year. But it just felt like it was bound to at some point kill you in the playoffs when it mattered most. And that's kind of what we saw tonight, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, the short yardage pivotal down and distances has kind of been their bugaboo since after the Eagles game. Yeah. And at first it was they're trying to get too cute and they're passing. Tonight, they tried to run and it didn't work. Yep. Then they throw it on fourth down at the end. They don't get it, right? It just felt like Ben could not press the right buttons on 3rd and short or 4th and short from the Eagles after the Eagles game on. And so what do you go to? And my biggest question at a few times, because obviously anybody that watches this program knows I was a big proponent of run the damn ball. But they did choose to run the damn ball tonight in a few of those down and distances and did not get it. But my only quibble would be, why are we running it to the left side when you have a whole new left side of the offensive line with Joe Tooney and Jordan McFadden? And maybe Ben always tries to think outside of the box in a way throwing them off, right?
But in fairness, the right side hasn't been working that well the last couple weeks.
Right. The sneak with Caleb Williams, they got it to the left side, right? So, that was where they caught him off guard. But, to me, if you're going to run it on pivotal short down and distances and you've got a new left tackle and a new left guard there, I'm going to run to the right side that's been there and done that. It is what it is. It doesn't guarantee they would have got it, but that was my only thought process at times in the second half.
My biggest issue is, on those downs, they know you're running it, right? So why not have 22 personnel in there? Get old school, so then if somebody penetrates, you have Smythe in the backfield that can pick up that guy, and then all of a sudden you can divert that run. They were getting such great penetration, Jared Verse and Kobe Turner and those guys. Literally, they were hitting the ball carrier before it's there because you're trying to stretch out the defense. So I just didn't understand from that standpoint, especially early on when that didn't work. Why don't you hit it down the middle with your fullback, your other tight ends, and go old school?
Well, late in the year, Colston Loveland did become that third down target, and there is something brewing there. I don't think anybody, literally even the most pessimistic Bears fan out there, would take chips off the table on where this team is going right now. If you look at where they were, not just like training camp, start of the season, into the bye, what was going on, go back and read some of the articles that people were writing at the bye week of where they were at and where they actually ended up. It's a major difference, mainly with the quarterback, plus the targets. Luther Burden came on. Colston obviously is a huge target going forward. Rome got injured. He's going to come back. I understand the drop issues, but that guy's going to be a better player. The offseason, to me, is going to start at the left tackle position. What are you going to do at left tackle? Because you can't trust Ozzie, patellar tendon. That's a major issue. They don't, obviously, if you're punting on Theo Bennett in this game, that's not going to be your answer. Braxton's going to be gone. So that's your number one hole that you got to look at. The guys tonight, Jaquan Brisker, free agent. Jaquan Brisker had 14 tackles tonight, played his best game that I think he's played in 2 years. Yeah, the guy was phenomenal.
Coverage
so
too.
That's a huge decision. Are you gonna pay Brisker, who's had the issues with the concussion that he's had, or not? That's a big time.
Well, this was his first full season. He played healthy,
right?
And speaking of that, you brought up Colston Loveland. Like, we talk about luck running out in terms of these comeback wins. But the luck also ran out in terms of the amount of injuries that piled up on this team. And Colston Loveland gets hurt, isn't able to come back. You mentioned how he was their guy they'd go to on third down. He's now not in at the end of the fourth quarter and overtime. And this is a team that had the most missed games by starters for injury this season. And so, again, you're going to hear a lot of narratives this offseason, and I encourage
Greg's here to shut them down tonight.
all Bears fans to say, just ignore it. I mean, there are so many things going for this team. Yes, they had a lot of good fortune to win these games that they did this year. But they also had a lot of things go against them this year that would have been every reason for them to not even make the playoffs, let alone be one step away from the the NFC Championship, national championship tomorrow night. But, from injuries to pass rush to drop passes to inconsistency on offense, there's so many things that this team can clean up for the future and be such a more consistent football team and not just a team that can win it in clutch moments.
Look, I go back to the first couple drives. If anybody was watching the watch-along, it sucked that Rome dropped that ball. And it sucked that Ben didn't kick the field goal, and they got stopped. And then it sucked that the Rams went right down the field, and it was 7-0. And I was sitting there going, well, this has been pretty much every game of the season. Yep. I mean, really, if you think about it, but here's I don't want to take away from the pain of Bears fans tonight, though, because look, anyway they lost tonight, we would have been sitting here on the postgame show being like, they did this and they did that. But I do have to say, I don't know that any of us thought we'd be sitting here going, the defense played well, Stafford and their offense didn't look good at all, and there's a world, and they're probably saying the same thing in LA, I get it, but there's a world where if the Bears just convert on 2 more of those possessions, that I said 7 possessions you had tonight, it's a chance to take the lead. 8 if you want to include possibly going for 2 at the end of regulation. But to only get 1 field goal out of those 7 possessions, if you score 2 touchdowns, this could have been like the Eagles game, where you're in control, where you're in the fourth, you're actually playing with a lead. And I have to say, that's the one thing they need to fix going into next year. All of these games this year, it was like living and dying by needing a miracle because you're playing from behind. And there were so many opportunities throughout the season where you could have been playing with the lead. And for whatever reason, it came together in Philadelphia on Black Friday. And that was the one game that we can all sit here and go, man, they were in control.
They kicked their ass.
They kicked their ass. And they just weren't able to do that in all these other games. And I think the bottom line is that's probably a young team that was a year away. You know what I mean? Now, and so maybe that's justifying their shortcomings. I don't know, but tonight they really, if you had told me Stafford and that Rams offense would have played like this, I think I actually would have had my prediction being more like 31-17 than 24-23, which was what I ultimately had. And so that part does leave a bitter taste in your mouth because there were so many opportunities there tonight to seize the game.
Hey, we got about, it's the last post-game show of the year. Just reminding everybody, we're doing Bears content 52 weeks out of the year, 5 days a week in the offseason.
If you leave us now, you're not a real fan.
Hit the subscribe button. For anybody new to the channel right now, subscribe. We cover the Bears and every other Chicago sports. We do a ton of coverage every single day during the offseason, well, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Greg, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we'd be remiss if we don't talk about what I think a lot of fans are going to talk about here after this game, and that is the interception by Caleb Williams and DJ Moore stopping on his route.
Yeah,
well, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of waiting to hear what we hear from the locker room. Yeah. A lot of people are killing DJ Moore right now. Yep. I don't really like the aggressiveness there, to be honest, on 2nd and 8. I don't know what. I honestly don't know what happened, so I'm kind of waiting to hear what we hear from the locker room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately, whether or not he was able to make the catch or not, I think it's clear on the replay that you can see DJ stop. Now the guy makes an interception. He turns over. He kind of bobbles it as he's catching it.
I would love to see DJ or Luther jump in there and knock that ball out.
If DJ is completing the route, whether or not he catches it, he can at least play defense on that play.
Which is the second time we've seen that in like the last month.
Right. So, I mean, I know that's going to be a huge focal point for fans here tonight is that DJ did not finish that route. And it's something ultimately here, I mean, we'll see if he talks in the locker room, but something he's going to have to answer to.
I mean, look, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, every time you watch the replay of that thing, it looks worse. Yeah. But the thing is that is a quarterback and a wide receiver still getting on the same page to me. He's improvising. It's on the move. They're just not. Those two this year never were in great. They never really got into any real phenomenal sync. They're like DJ and Caleb are like this. We never thought you saw it with Colston. You had it for a minute with Rome early in the year. DJ had some phenomenal plays tonight too. Let's be real about this. Some incredible one-handed catch. But those two this year, DJ should not be the whatever he was fourth leading receiver on the team. That's not what they're paying him to do. That's not what his talent level is.
Yeah, right. No. Again, that's another example of a storyline we've had the whole year. It was like all of the storylines all popped up in this game in one play here and there, and it added up to like 15 plays. It's kind of what it was, and that that sucks. I don't know what happens with DJ this offseason. Yeah. I think he showed in this game a lot of the good things he does. Yeah. Everybody needs to know he's been playing through a back injury since that cheap shot from Keyshawn Nixon. Yeah. Which, all these Packer fans are whining about Ben Johnson and the cheap shots and blah, 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 blah. No one ever talks about that one. Exactly. And he's been playing with a back injury since then. Yeah. And that's why he left tonight in the middle of the game for 5 minutes. Yeah,
it was tough not having some of those guys out there, Loveland at the end. But honestly, I think this game comes down to Ben Johnson. This is on him. 100%. I guarantee you in the press conference, you can say, I take accountability to this. A couple decisions here or there, and regardless of how bad Caleb played, how inconsistent the offense, they should have won that game in regular time just because of the field goals and whatnot. So, hey, he's aggressive, but that game should have been done in regulation.
We already got Cole Kmet, I could see, and so we will play that on the other end of this break because I do want to hear a reaction from the locker room. We also need a Toyota Big Money Super Chat here before we hit that break. A lot of big supers coming in. And by the way, we'll probably do this throughout the show tonight, but the amount of support and love that we have received from you guys throughout this amazing season, we just greatly appreciate it. We wish we had at least one more week to do this with you guys. But the good news is, I mean, in some ways it's bad news for mostly Steven, but we never stop. So So we're not going to stop. We got shows for you all this coming week. But, yeah, we wish there was another game next week. And people like the Craigulator. It's time for the Craigulator. It's time. The thing about the Craigulator is, the Craigulator always brings it. $100 super chat from the Craigulator. It says, it was a great season, gives us even more to look forward to next year. The fact we got this far demonstrates the potential we have on our path to greatness. Do not be sad. I think that's directed at Greg. Mistakes were made and lessons learned. Onward, Bears fans. Hit the like and subscribe. Bear down. Hell yeah, Craigulator. Please do hit that like button. Let's get that. Let's celebrate by getting that like button over 1,000 here. That'd be a good way to celebrate an amazing season.
And I gotta jump in here. We do a bunch of stuff with Big Brothers Big Sisters, one of our supporters here, and my little Emiliano was texting me. Tonight was not a good game for the Bears. I'm watching your broadcast and I see you sad. I'm sorry. I hope to see you tomorrow.
Your little sad.
I'm okay. Emmy, you're the man, and it's always disappointing when the season comes to an end. It was a great year, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching, and shout out to everybody at Big Brothers Big Sisters.
A lot more coming up, including Cole Kmet. But first, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you are a winner when your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets, parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. You can double your winnings on parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. Look for those. Download the app. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. NBA tip-off Tuesdays are always a good way to go about things. You can get up to $10 in bonus bets if your bet loses on those. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose. That used to be $150. So get in now. Sign up. Use code CHGO365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5. You'll get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
And Friday was amazing and to be in the Bears locker room, but it actually wasn't great because I had to miss my appointment at Game Day Men's Health, and it messed up my entire weekend.
Wow.
So, look, if you are a man and you're starting to feel like the energy's a little low throughout the day, if you're looking at your coworker and wondering, how am I going to talk to this guy for the next 3 hours? The way to get it done is to where is he? He's not even here right now. Game Day Men's Health wants to support you in your man's health journey, personalized care for your goals. It's a very quick, easy process. You're in and out in less than an hour. And, yes, they have an extremely high success rate with their testosterone, with their vitamin supplements, with their weight loss, with their hair loss treatment. You can be anywhere from 27 and up in age. It doesn't matter. They will help you out. Check out their locations, Skokie, Naperville, Libertyville. Scan the QR code. Find one close to you. They're all over the place. I go to the one in Park Ridge. Go to GameDayCHGO.com to find the locations next to you and ask for the hip exfoliation deep treatment.
Thing.
It's a thing.
You don't exfoliate your hip.
It's amazing. Game Day Men's Health. Exfoliate, massage, relax.
We can still have fun.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Hey,
shout out Game Day.
You know what? This sucks that the Bears lost, but it is remarkable how this team somehow kept topping themselves. If they had won this game, that basically Hail Mary to Cole Kmet would have been like, how do you top what happened last week? How do you top what happened in the first Packer game? And Cole has obviously been our guy here at CHGO now for a couple seasons. So that was an amazing moment for him. Shout out Stacey Dales, who got an amazing shot on her phone standing in that end zone as that play happened. And Cole literally does the home run swing in her camera shot and then yells into her phone. That was amazing. We know you want to hear what's going on in the Bears locker room. We're going to have Ben Johnson coming up. By the way, Ben Johnson did already say Colson Loveland had a concussion. No surprise there, but he did announce that. We're going to bring you Ben as soon as possible. We do have Cole Kmet right now inside the Bears locker room. Let's hear from the Bears tight end after a very tough loss, but a great touchdown catch for him at the end of regulation.
This is how it works. I mean, we kind of did what we did all season long there, and we just came up short. That was all.
What do you think about? I know you said there will be changes, but the core of this team, with Caleb coming back,
sure,
new, and a lot to build off from this season. I'm sure.
Yeah, I understand, but they're like the work we put in is for this year, not for next year. Next year's, I mean, when we take our time off here and reset, and the team of what it's going to be next year settles in for itself, it starts all over again. And it's 0-0, and And it's going to be twice as hard to get to this point, you know. And you can't take for granted the opportunities you get in this league to get to this chance and to have an opportunity to go to the NFC Championship game, and then who knows from there. But yeah, to just think that it's just going to happen again, that's very wishful thinking, very wishful. And you know, we play in a tough division, and you know, I know we won the division, but we also went 2-4 in the division this year, and those teams are going to come back hungry. It's just that much harder, and so that's why it hurts when you have the opportunity now, and you know, you just come up a little short. It stinks because there's a lot of work that has to be done to get to this point.
Go more.
Cole, can you,
it just felt like the pop fly in center field. Yeah, a lot of those DBs have a tough time tracking. I don't know what happened to the guy kind of guarding me a little bit, but yeah, it just felt like a pat and go situation that we do every Friday, and felt like a pretty easy pitch and catch. It kind of felt like it was in slow motion. Can't believe Caleb again. I mean, it's just a nutty throw that he can make, but yeah, I was obviously glad they sent me overtime, but sucks to come up short.
Last one.
What about the elements?
Yeah, no, I thought they played in our favor. You know, it was fun to play in the snow. I mean, it's a snow game at Soldier at night, playoff divisional game. I think we all embraced it, and we knew that it would be a little bit of adjustment for them. And you know, credit to them, they handled it really well, and they came out ready to go. And but yeah, I mean, the elements were definitely a factor, but it was something that we've embraced all season long, and we played in many games like that.
All right, thanks, guys.
So it is interesting here, and I'm not surprised by this at all. You could speak to this as a former player. Like, you know, the thing about the fans and us, like, we're not going anywhere. It's also part of the reason why this stuff hurts so much, because it's been 40 years since they've, you know, won a Super Bowl. But, you know, for these players, nothing's guaranteed. You know, and so Cole, I thought, represented a good message from the players there. And, like, there's no, we're on a good track for next year thinking in that locker room right now. Because, as he said, it's going to be twice as hard next year to get to this same point. Exactly. And he's not wrong about that. Yep. You know, I think one thing I'm going to appreciate about this season and everything that had to go right just for the Bears to get to this spot, including tonight just to get to overtime. Look, like, it's amazing that the Chiefs and the Patriots went on the runs that they did.
But that's the difference, right? Is we have to reset, and I totally respect where Cole's coming from. He's right. Dan Campbell famously said a few years ago when they lost to the Niners, I don't know if we'll ever be back here again. And
turns out it's true.
They have not, right? But at the same time, to get back there, you have to develop consistency. And while everyone wants to clown Mike Tomlin as he's on his way out of Pittsburgh, 19 straight seasons with a winning record. That's consistency, right? You want to be a consistent organization that has a chance in the playoffs year in and year out. You've got to develop another level of expectation. You have to understand how to reset your mindset in the offseason, and that is the task at hand for Ben Johnson. There has been many outlier years over the last 20 years for the Chicago Bears, but how Ben Johnson reforms and reshapes the mindset and motivational tactics that he uses this offseason. You can't ring the same bell. Yeah. Good, better, best has been a lot of fun, but you might have to reset that here this offseason. You have to take a different mindset into going into next year. And so that is going to be the task at hand, but I just continue to believe in this coaching staff and the adjustments they made throughout the season with a hand tied behind their back with different flaws on the roster, that they'll be able to make the adjustments not only on the roster, but how they need to adjust from a mindset perspective going into next year.
I definitely think they'll be able to do that, but from a player's perspective, you got to capitalize on the opportunity. Right, we thought at any point they could take it all the way. And you look at this NFC, there was no team that you're really scared of.
Yeah.
Right, same in the AFC, because you kind of thought if they continue stacking some wins and they get to the big show, anything is possible.
Right.
So, you know, Cole, I understand exactly where he's coming from. My rookie year, we made it to the NFC Championship. Never got to the playoffs again.
Yeah.
So, you know, the 2012 season, you know, finished 10-6, didn't get in there. One of the best defenses, so nothing is guaranteed. I understand where you're coming from. Like what they did this season, they're going to rebuild the defensive line. They're going to, you know, fix some of those issues, Caleb Williams and company. But nothing is guaranteed in this league,
100%. And
you got to take advantage of the opportunities. And I think today, like obviously, you know, hats off to the Bears, great season. But this is one that they should have won. Honestly, there were so many different opportunities there. And to Cole's point, you just have to take advantage when you have that opportunity to be able to hold Stafford, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, to what they did tonight, with basically a hand tied behind their back with the way the pass rush was, especially in the second half and et cetera. I mean, awesome job that they did.
Well, right, but then they also ended up with a home game in the snow, in the cold, which was to their advantage, and they didn't capitalize
take advantage of it. The amount of drops they had was not that. It was supposed to be the Rams with all those drops. So that part sucks.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you look at the future, I mean, I think where you start with confidence for what the Bears have is with the head coach and what he is going to bring to the table, and that they haven't had a Ben Johnson here literally ever. So that's something that has not been around. So it could change. And then you can move to the quarterback and just the offense in general. But the other side of this is that look, Detroit was 15-2 last year. The Vikings were 14-3. The NFL is hard. The margin is thin. It's just tough.
Right.
But I see people in the chat right now saying like the Bears were going to need a new message going forward, like this good, better, best thing. I think if I'm Ben Johnson,
I wouldn't.
When we get back in April, when the team comes back in, I think the lesson learned is they never got to their best. They never got to that point. They got so damn close. They beat the Packers.
That's good.
And then the same thing happened tonight, happened against the 49ers. I know they scored a lot more points, but that first half against the Niners, it was all about missed opportunities. Yep. And they didn't play with a lead. They could have. And then they dropped the ball against the Lions in Week 18. And then they needed a miracle against the Packers. They never really got to their best. And that's the thing that they can hang their hat on, I think, going into this offseason. Like that, if I'm Ben Johnson, that's my message. Here's why we never got to our best. Like, we talked about it, we believed it, but this happened, or, and there's probably 100 different things he could put on a list, whether it's all these soft tissue injuries. Hey, guys, if you're someone that was, maybe this should be your diet in the offseason. Maybe you need to hydrate better. Maybe you need to train differently instead of worrying about bulk. Work on pliability, whatever, and that's just one example I'm bringing up. Like all these things that ended up stacking up throughout the season that prevented them from getting to the best. They really were better this year. They never got to their best, but I think they can get there in the future if they just look at this season, they learn their lessons, they celebrate what was great about it. They can get there in the future, and I think Ben Johnson, if there's one thing we've learned about him, he is going to be obsessed with getting to the best. So I believe in him. I believe that if he makes those adjustments and the players deliver and listen to that and believe in him, they will get there next year.
I agree with that, and it'll be interesting to see how Ben approaches the messaging throughout the summer and going into next year for sure. But I also think that in your point of the one thing that is frustrating about the end of this year, I mean, there's only 3 games left the rest of the year. Right? Yeah. You have 2 games next week and then the Super Bowl. So they made it to the 4 final games of the year.
They were the 5th team left.
Right. They were the 5th team left, and it was anybody's Super Bowl. Maybe Matt Stafford wins the second, but outside of that, like it might be a new face this year, and it could have been the Bears for sure. There's no ducking that, and that is why it is disappointing. I don't think anybody's hiding from that fact. But I will just point to, yes, so many people will point to outlier Bears seasons where they just fall flat on their face and they're never to return to what we're dealing with. But I'm just going to point to successful organizations, quarterbacks that have been there and done that, because I believe in Caleb Williams, I believe in Ben Johnson, and the first team that I go to when I look at what the Bears are and hope for what is to come is Russell Wilson and those Seahawks, because in his rookie year, they won a wild card game. They got to the divisional and lost to the Falcons 30-28. It was a heartbreaker. They should have won that game and got to the NFC Championship. They went 11-5 on the season. Sound familiar? The next year, they went all the way to the Super Bowl, 13-3, and won the whole damn thing. And it was based off of a defense that would not be denied. And that is what, to me, is the task at hand for Ryan Poles. You have an explosive offense that certainly needs to learn consistency. You have a quarterback that is clutch, but you got to play 4 full quarters. You've got dynamic playmakers. They got to learn to hold on to the football. You've got a great offensive line. Got to get healthy on that front. We all understand that. But to me, the gaping hole of this team that they did everything they could, and the defense had a hell of an effort here tonight. But at the end of the day, to win a Super Bowl, you got to have a dominant defense. And this defense was far from that. And the turnovers, takeaways that they got throughout the year, they fell off here in the playoffs. They got 0 takeaways in both games. You need a guy that will be on that defensive line that is a game wrecker. And I honestly have no doubt that Ryan Poles will make a push for Max Crosby. I truly believe that. Just the same way the Packers went after Micah Parsons this last offseason, I think the Bears will push their chips all in. That's a story and a show for another day. But ultimately, that is what I think is going to push this team over the top. They've proven they're clutch. They're proven that they'll fight. They're proven they're explosive. Now they need consistency, and they need game wreckers on defense.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, especially on the defensive line. I think there's 2 positions that we need. We need a right defensive end, and we need a 3 technique that's an absolute monster, that gets off the football, that penetrates, that can win one-on-one rushes, that can push the pocket, command double teams. Those are the 2 pieces that we're missing. Imagine if we had that this year, right? And then you have Montez Sweat on the other side where there's not as much attention on him. But that's what they need to improve on. And I think you look at Seattle, a reason why they are so dominant. San Francisco had no answer for that defensive line. They had no answer, right? They're penetrating. They're stuffing the run. Christian McCaffrey's on the sideline hurting because he's getting smoked by them. Yep. Like, that's what it's going to take in Chicago. Chicago has always been a defensive city, right? Now the tides have kind of turned. Yeah, the defense did great today, but I think if they're going to make that push next year, I think the offense is going to be exactly where they need to be. I think another year under Ben Johnson. Rome, I know people in the chat are talking about him. He's been hurt. He's not himself. He's got to catch some balls and things like that. He's playing hurt. He's not himself. But I think the offense is going to be a lot better. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it sucks because I really thought they had a shot. Because there's nobody in this NFL that I'm scared of.
I mean, Seattle's defense looks scary, but the way this Bears season has gone is if I was predicting next week's game and they advanced, I would have said the same thing. I'm like, it's going to come down to the fourth quarter overtime, and it's going to be a toss-up.
Exactly.
And as long as they keep doing that, there was a chance that they were all going to go to the Bears' way. But tonight it just, sort of ran out on them.
Why don't we do our players-only segment? We'll get Zoom in here. We'll get Lance Briggs in here alongside Woot. Greg and I will step out for a segment. Big Money Super Chat brought to you by Toyota. I know we're efforting some big ones here. Why don't we you want to get Moose Chuckle in here?
Moose Chuckle?
The Moose Chuckle?
Moose Chuckle 69?
Okay. Oh. It's right up Carm's alley.
Okay, Moose.
The Moose Chuckle, $50.
Moose.
Thank you, Moose Chuckle. Do we have a wide receiver coaching problem with Antoine Randall? He seems like a great vibes guy, but all year we saw drops, wrong routes, lack of effort, and bad footing from wide receivers all season long. The inconsistency all year has me worried. Antoine Randall is going to be a head coach in this league, my friend. So I don't.
I do have 2 responses to this, though.
Yeah.
One is I do have to say, and injuries were a part of this, but overall, as good of a year as it was, I'm kind of disappointed in the wide receivers as a whole.
100%.
Everyone talked about all the weapons they had and the times that really that shined, and I feel good about Luther Burden going forward. But when you really look at it, Rome was his second-year breakout season was held back by 2 things. One was injuries, which you don't always have control over, and the stress fractures in his foot sucked. 2 was the drops, though. Even when he's healthier earlier in the year, he wasn't catching everything.
No.
That was something we were talking about. DJ Moore season, I mean, you could write a whole book about the ups and downs of that. But so I do think there's something to be said to that super chat that if I'm Antoine Randall, I'm a little bit disappointed with how the whole year went for my guys. On the other hand, and I've brought my buddy Keith up a bunch. You met him last night. He texts me all the time, and he's always blaming the coaches. And tonight he's texting me, does Randall L teach these guys how to catch? And I'm like, well, here's the thing about that. If you need to teach 2 top 10 picks how to catch, then the picks are wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're top 10 picks, which is not to say the picks are wrong. I don't think Roman Dunze or Colson Loveland are bad picks. In fact, I think the exact opposite. My point is, it's so easy to blame the coaching. Nobody ever wants to blame the execution. Right. Catch the ball.
Yep.
Block the player.
Yep.
Like, all these things. We can look at all these 4th down decisions from Ben. But the lack of execution throughout the season was glaring at times. It was too inconsistent.
It's interesting that you're getting that text too, because one of my diehard Bears fans is texting me. I think number one need is a wide receiver. Can't believe I'm typing that. Like, I mean, it's you're not alone in the thought that room could be upgraded.
No, but I think too. You look at the that wide receiver room, right? DJ is arguably the leader, right? The most veteran guy in the room. I don't know how much of a leader he truly was and is in that room for an example for the younger guys to learn. So usually you follow suit with some of the other guys, right? On the defense, we had TJ Edwards and company and some of the veteran guys. DJ just seemed like he was visibly distanced from the team this year, right? At times when he's getting the ball, I'm happy. But I'm not, like classic, like A.J. Brown type of stuff. Like there is some diva there with him. I think we agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, and I would also say, like, considering how little he got the ball relative to how he's gotten in the past, I thought his personality that kind of just remained pretty steady for how he always is. He is not the fiery guy in that room. That's not his game. But
I don't. Yeah, I would push back a little bit on the diva. I
wouldn't call him a diva.
I almost think it's more of a lack of killer instinct sometimes. You know what we're talking about. Like, I want to see the wide receiver fight through the end of that play to knock the ball out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You know
all
what I
year
mean?
We've seen stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's like
I
you're putting
appreciate
an example out
yeah.
there for the younger guys.
The interception, and it's not the only time this year, by the way, that he hasn't gone and knocked away a ball. That you can point to a couple others. But here, let's get our players only in here. Keep this thing moving along. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Lance Briggs, Jerry Azumah with Woot and Hoge coming up next. But first.
Oh, winter is here. We saw it alive and well at Soldier Field tonight. And
sure did.
Once you're back home, you better make sure that your home's heating is up for the challenge, because I don't know if there's much relief in sight here. Four Seasons is going to give you the relief, the peace of mind that you need.
Now checking the weather. Shout out to Four Seasons. Go ahead.
Remember, this is the post-game show we're doing now. Four Seasons Furnace Tune-Up. Thinking about a whole home generator? They got you covered. Plumbing emergency, call Four Seasons. Electrical emergency, call Four Seasons. Four Seasons is going to guarantee you same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, generator needs. Save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. $39 a month for a furnace right now. If you want to go furnace AC, already thinking about the summer, that's $57 a month. Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. It's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
High tomorrow, 6. High tomorrow, Friday, 6. The week is it's a tough one. Four Seasons will help you out. So will our friends at Toyota. Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough for you, because Toyota's got 25 vehicles, 25 of them, with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. That is more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry, by the way, has got the all-wheel drive, the Corolla hybrid all-wheel drive. That is an amazing vehicle. Gets the job done. So does the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra. And then there is the spacious Grand Highlander with the all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, Toyota will bring the traction.
That's
Toyota.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah, in the winter and the summer. I mean, these are great summer vehicles too. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, back here on the CHGO post-game version of the CHGO Bears podcast. Bears lose 2017. Please hit that like button. We're trying to navigate our way through a tough loss and trying to still celebrate what's been an amazing season with you guys, specifically. Everybody watching, supporting CHGO. It was an awesome time at the tailgate today. So many amazing fans that were out here. We do this players-only segment every single post-game show. I got Jerry Azumah to my right, Corey Wootton, Lance Briggs to my left, and they will have brick by brick after show with Braggs later on. We will keep it going throughout the night as we always do. But guys, I always like to get your thoughts on the defense. We were talking earlier about how, man, if I knew we were going to get this defensive performance tonight, I think I would have felt pretty good about the victory. And that's obviously not what happened. So, Briggs, I'll give you a chance to chime in first. What'd you think?
Well, I think first off, thank you to the 2025 Chicago Bears for giving us quite a treat. This season has been quite a treat.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And I think what you've instilled in all of the Bears fans. We've been waiting for a very long time, and including myself. You know, and with that being said, watching Jaquan Brisker, he had 14 tackles. He played today like he knew where they were going to be. He played violent.
Fast.
He played sudden. He played like he had a sense of urgency. Play like that all the time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I would always say this to guys, you know, we'd play against ASU in the final game, and it's like, oh, in this final game you play your best and you have these crazy stats against ASU, against our rival. And I'm like, well, the difference between a lot of you players and myself is I played every game like it was ASU. I started from game one.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference between some, you know, and when you see him play at the level that he played today, like I believe that he can do that on a weekly basis.
Correct.
Right.
On a weekly basis. It was fun to watch him fly around there and make those plays. It was fun to see what they did on third down, because on third down was the key.
Yeah.
You know, the key. They were the Rams were 5 of 16. When you hold an offense, you're getting off the field, you're giving the ball back to your offense, you can win like that.
Exactly. And the Rams are a great third down team.
Great.
Dennis Allen did such a great job after that first drive.
Yeah.
Just with adjustments. Usually it had been the second half, right? They play a bad first half. But with the adjustments, it was awesome. He was disguising the coverages, bringing guys off the edge. Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker.
Coming free.
Correct. And when you talked about with Brisker, because previously years, his eyes would be in the backfield too much. He'd get beat on some of those routes. But he played one of his best games. He was disciplined on his keys. When the ball advanced, he hit that hole.
He knew it, right?
And it was awesome to see. And obviously, like, the defensive line and the pressure, it's sporadic. But I thought they did such a great job of working together, and especially Zoom, something you touched on, is tightening the coverage. Get physical with these guys.
Yeah.
And that really benefited the Bears. And what we saw, Matthew Stafford, a high-powered offense that usually averaged 450 yards a game, they held him to 319 or something like that. So that's incredible, right? The way they knocked out the run game after those first couple drives. I mean, defense really carried this game.
This was a very difficult offense, you know, to go against. Matchup-wise, I mean, Puka is the guy, obviously. But what I like and what I really enjoyed with these defensive backs specifically was the fact that they challenged them at the line of scrimmage. They got physical.
You saying they heard you?
they
were listening.
They finally were listening. They walked up and were challenging these wide receivers, and they got physical with them, and they had to earn everything that they got. And like you said, Bayard played extremely well. Brisker was incredible. Like, he was playing with great technique, great fundamentals. He just was anticipating the plays, and he was going out there and actually making them. So whenever you can do that, it's a good thing. And look, the weakness of the Chicago Bears has been their defense. It's been that pass rush, you know, and making pockets uncomfortable for quarterbacks to throw the ball. But we were able to get to the quarterback today. I think we had about 4 sacks as well. So the bad thing is that there was no takeaways, obviously, and we live and die by those takeaways. But they were fundamentally sound when they had to. They were making plays when they had to, and they were being physical at the point of attack. So they holding this high-powered offense to 20 points at the very end is something to, like, tip your hat at.
Absolutely. You get off the field on third down, and there are games where, you know, takeaways, they come in bunches, but there are times where it doesn't happen. But if you're getting off on third down, you're still – and a lot of times, you know, there are games where it's like, okay, listen, their defense is good, our defense is good, we're going to play the field position game. All right? That's the way it is, and I understood that. Like, and so by keeping the Rams kicking the ball, you know, and giving your offense another opportunity, that's all. At the end of the day, that's what you're there to do.
Right.
All right. You want to score defensively, but if you're giving the offense an opportunity, shoot. You can
and then
win.
also, I mean, you know, the offense had three interceptions. Caleb had 3 interceptions. Yeah. So, you know, there was a couple of times where the defense was put in some bad situations, and they had to come out there and just put out the fire. Yep. And they did that. So kudos to them, man. Like, that's a good thing to see heading into the offseason. But those are things that I feel comfortable about, because now they've shown us that they can actually do it.
one of the things I think too when that happens, let's say the third interception happens, we're so conditioned, in this game of football to say to drop our shoulders and our head down like, oh, whoa, and be in disappointment. But one of the teaching points as a defensive coach, you have a new opportunity to go out there and shine.
Right.
Don't sit over there and point at the offense and say, oh, the offense did this. Oh, why can't the offense do that? No, you have an opportunity to go out there and win the game.
Yeah, they play like it.
Right. Go out there and win the doggone game. All right?
Which is why we were getting frustrated sitting here on a couple of those third downs, especially that last one in overtime. I think it was 3rd and 6, right, Woot?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, hey, if these guys are going to sit here and be like, why are you playing so far off? Why are you playing so far off? And see it pre-snap.
Like, no shot right. Yeah,
and I know I get that not every third down is going to be perfect, but there were a couple times in that game where it was like,
yeah, they definitely weren't perfect. Like setting the edge towards the end.
Oh yeah,
that was bad, and they were able to score touchdowns that way.
And there were times where they were in empty. They're in empty. We're showing a 7-man pressure, 8-man pressure.
Hot route all day.
It's the ball's coming out fast
right now.
And so you have a stick route, which is it's like a 3 to 4 yard turnaround where it's in the open window. And Byard was slow getting to the ball. Like it's the ball's got to come out now.
Exactly. Play it,
anticipate. Yeah. He beats you on a double move. Hell, we're not getting to the doggone quarterback. Hats off to him.
I mean, we did that on a 3rd down. It was like a 3rd and 8 at a critical point in the game, late in the game, and the DBs were off on the wide receivers. It's like, dude, just play. They're not going to go behind you. They're not going to go behind you.
Play the situation.
Play those sticks.
Yes.
Play those sticks.
Which you could also argue on the interception in overtime if we switch to the offensive side of the ball, because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that too. I mean, kind of playing the situation. We still haven't heard from Ben. We're going to hear from him actually next after this segment. I mean, I'm really curious to know really what happened on that interception, but it also, like, you're 20 yards away from being in field goal range to get to the NFC Championship game. It just seemed unnecessary.
Yeah, I know.
6 points were left on the board.
Yeah. That's what I was saying before this. I said this game was on Ben Johnson. I don't care what anybody says. For his coaching, he lost in this game. I love Ben Johnson, but coaching malpractice a little bit on his end.
At some point, you got to take the points.
100%.
At some point, you have to.
Just think about that. If you settle for one field goal in that game, after Cole Kmet scores, you win by 3.
The hard part about that is we know better. But everybody that's sitting and watching the Bears play wants him to go for it on 4th down. But it's the wise, the old hearts that are like, this is not the way you're supposed to do it. You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to hit on soft 12. You're not supposed, like, there's rules in the game. There's things you're supposed to do and things you're not supposed to do.
Right.
And so, and eventually it's going to come and it's going to bite you in the ass. And it bit Dan Campbell in the ass, and it bit Ben in the ass.
Yeah.
No, that's fair, and I think I think there's a lot for him to learn from this season in some of these moments. I mean, really, the only one I really had a problem with was the first one.
The 21st,
and I wonder.
21-yard line.
I'm curious your guys' perspective on the idea that, like, it seems like to me when he calls a play that should theoretically work, and like did work. No, like it did work, but they dropped the ball. You know what I mean? Like he's sitting there on the sideline. I almost can't blame him from a human nature standpoint, being like, I called the touchdown there. It was a touchdown, and they dropped the ball. You get to 4th down, it's so tempting to be like, we need a touchdown here because that should have been a touchdown. I almost feel like
I wish I had glasses. I could push him up like this.
What'd you say, Professor?
The theoretical stuff. I love that because from offensive coaches, they like, especially the smarter ones, they live and die by that.
Yeah.
We played UCLA. We lost to them. Okay, we ran 4 quarterback keeps in a row. And you know what our offensive coordinator said? He said, theoretically, it should have worked.
It's called getting too cute. You know?
Right?
But the point I'm trying to get is I think some of the good coaches, though, are able to, like, emotionally separate themselves from that and be like, you know what? Let's take our 3 points.
I actually think that this is a good thing for Ben.
Yeah.
I think this is a good thing for Ben, like, moving forward.
Yeah.
I think that he's a really good coach, and he's solid, and he has some really good minds around him as well. But I think that he's going to go back and really evaluate the whole season and evaluate these last couple of games and the last couple of drives and been like, you know what? Maybe I do need to tone it back a little bit and get some points and some momentum.
Who's the guy
and
that
then
does
go from
that,
there.
though? My question is, who's the guy that does that? And so part of why I never wanted to coach at this level is because of who you coach with matters.
Yeah.
Okay? I have one of my best friends, right now, he was the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. He's now with the Ottawa Red Blacks, okay? He's one of the people that if he said, hey, Lance, you want to coach, actually he has done, and I've said no. But, like, that's when I would consider, because when you get into these situations, who's going to challenge you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can get on that phone and say, Ryan, what the hell are you doing?
Yes.
Like, what are we doing?
You don't have yes men around you.
Right.
Say,
You don't,
whatever you say.
and I'm not saying he has them.
Yeah.
But I need to be around somebody that I know that I can say that, and we can get into it.
Yeah.
We can get over it, because it's all in respect, and emotions fly in football.
Yeah.
But, Coach, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You better not.
Exactly.
You know? So it's just interesting, man. And as if I were a head coach, I need people on my staff that were going to challenge me, challenge my decisions. 100%. You know what I mean? So that we're all on that earphone, that headset, and we're challenging. And I said, okay, based off of what you guys have all said, this is what I believe this is the best decision now.
Special teams coach should have been like, no. Like, we need to kick this ball right now.
But the question is,
Dave Tobe,
would have been yelling from.
Do they have? But the question is, and I think it's a great point. But do they have that process in place? Right?
It might be.
We don't know.
Because sometimes, I mean, all I can speak at is my experience at the high school level. But like, it depends. Like, sometimes I think those discussions are happening, and then sometimes it's just like the head coach makes his decision. Yeah. And he's the head coach, and you live with that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know that I don't think we've learned. That's still learning more about Ben Johnson and his process.
Yeah.
But usually that's a play ahead. Hey, like, you call your third down play, and then you go back on the headset because you can't talk to the quarterback anymore, and you go, all right, if we don't get this, guys, what do you think? What do you think? And you take some input right then, because that better happen then. Because if you wait until it's actually fourth down, it's too late.
Right.
Then you're just like, gotta go. You guys gotta go with your instinct.
A couple times when the clock got down too much, you're like, come on, like, are we gonna make
right? As a defensive coordinator, I need to hear it immediately. I need to hear exactly, if you're the D-line coach, I need to hear what they're doing, what the offensive line's doing, if they're gutting us out, wherever it's happening, or if there's a weak link right now, DBs. I need the DB coach to tell me, hey, listen, they're playing off, they're pressing, hey, this is what they're doing. They're in a lot of 2, they're in a lot of 1. Because as soon as I hear that, I know exactly what we need to run. Right. And then I'm going to say, hey, listen, what do you feel about this right here? Yeah, yes, coach. We're like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's all about feedback. And
the last thing we were talking about before you guys got on is how hard it is to make it. Like, say, oh, well, it's next year. Think about that, right? You made the Super Bowl in 2006. Right, we got to the NFC Championship in 2010, 2011 season. But then never again after that. Never again. Right, 10-6 to 2012 season. We're looking like we're world beaters on defense. We're making it all the way. Don't make the playoffs. So that's Cole Kmet was talking a little bit about that in the locker room. How hard it is to continuously do it, because we should be better on paper. We're gonna get pass rushers, but sometimes there's that magic in the season, and this season had that magic.
Could have a year where you lose 14 players like the Lions.
Yeah,
injuries. There's a lot of things that come into play, man. And we had something as simple as losing our defensive coordinator. We lost Ron Rivera, and our organization thought that we'd be okay because we had basically our whole defense still intact. It made a difference.
Mel Tucker,
and it makes a difference. All of that, everybody that comes in and puts this team together, that this 2025 team, it matters.
Guys, great stuff. This is a good segment, and stuff that it's over, but
Yeah.
it's been fun with you guys all year.
Yeah.
You know, doing this with you guys on the postgame show, and a lot more coming up because as soon as we're done here on CHGO, we got the Brick by Brick after show.
That's right.
And so Jerry Azumah, Lance Briggs will be back here with Greg Braggs, and I'm sure it'll be a nice, calm show.
It's gonna be fun.
As
It's gonna be fun.
To say goodbye to yesterday.
Ben Johnson's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from the head coach, and there's a lot to hear from him. I have lots of questions that I wish I could have asked tonight, but we'll see what those questions and those answers are. But first, whether it's on the field or in your financial life, the best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. At Old National Bank, they believe every play matters, because it does. From everyday checking to long-term planning and commercial banking, the team at Old National Bank is here to build momentum and help you move the ball forward. So whether you're celebrating a win, rebuilding after a tough loss, or gearing up for whatever comes next, they've got your back with tools, guidance, and an expert crew that's always in your corner. Carman, did you see those the signs coming down the Kennedy?
I sure didn't, but
yesterday it said, "Rams, we dare you to lick the goalpost."
Shout out Old National. Good
and
work.
Then today, coming down for the tailgate, it said, "Hey, that warm, fuzzy feeling you got, that's called frostbite."
There it is.
Take that, Rams. Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Member FDIC.
Love that passion from Old National. And I love our friends at Almost Home Tavern. If you are looking for the spot to catch your favorite games this season, we have the place that checks all the boxes. Chef-driven, elevated bar food, straight delicious. The smash burger, the tavern-style pizza. Braggs loves it. And we're not just about the food, though. They've got the pool. They've got the darts. They got the big buck hunter. Woot loves that. They got the shuffleboard. They've got wall-to-wall TVs. Perfect for watching the Bears. And, yeah, the owners, by the way, they're diehard CHGO fans. They're CHGO diehard members. They're massive Bears fans. And they've got you covered with the beer, the covered beer garden. And where is it located? It's just a block north of Wrigley Field. So pregame, during game, post-game for your Cubs. Baseball's coming around again. They've got the daily specials and the happy hour that actually makes it worth going in there. Check out our friends at Almost Home Tavern. It's awesome. You'll be happy you did.
Pretty remarkable. We still got almost 6,000 people still watching after a tough loss. Do not go anywhere. Please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe if you're here for the first time, because we're going to be right back here tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, covering everything all year long. But we know you want to hear from the head coach, Ben Johnson. So here he is, Ben Johnson, after the Bears' loss to the Rams tonight.
All right, here we go. Colston was the one that didn't make it to the end there. He had a concussion, but everyone else, for the most part, made it through that game. But disappointing result tonight. Our guys fought the entire way, just like they have all season long. I thought this was very much like our team has been. And you got to give the Rams credit. Coach McVay does a phenomenal job. Coach Shula did a great job with their defense this week, and they ended up making a couple more plays than we did, and that's why ended up going into overtime, and they ended up coming out on top. And so, like I said, disappointing result. Our guys are feeling it right now. They all believed, man. They all believed all year long that we could find a way to win each and every week, and so it's disappointing like that. But I am proud of the group. It's a special group. I said that a few weeks ago. I believe that to my core. That when you're with a group of men for the last time in the locker room, and it's just not going to be the same going forward. That. I appreciate all of them, the men and the women, coaches, players, support staff, everybody that had a role this season. It was a special year, and this will be hopefully a feeling in this locker room that we won't forget, and we'll be able to use it as fuel going forward. But with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
How did describe the difficulty and the suddenness of this ending for that group?
Yeah, it's the NFL, right? Is you make it to the tournament like this, and the moment we knew we had to win 4 in a row to actually feel good at the end of the thing, and we didn't get that done, and so this is what happens: is it ends abruptly, and for the young players in the room, it's like, okay, well, come in tomorrow, and we go through the exit process, and then we go on, and. But the veteran leadership has been outstanding all year long. Those guys are a key part of what we've done. All those guys in that line, I mean, they've all played significant roles in us getting here to this point. And so, it ends quickly, and that's life in this league.
And what did you think of the throw Caleb made at the end, backpedaling at the 40-yard line?
The 4th down to tie it up, ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean, you talk about that 4th and 8 from last week and how outstanding that was, and I think this one was probably even another level ahead of that. So there's some things that you just can't coach. He's got that about him. He's got a knack. He's clutch. He does so many good things. He's an eraser. I have plenty of bad calls each and every week, and he helps make it right for me. And I know he's feeling it because we didn't win and have some turnovers mixed in there, and he's feeling it. But he's one of those guys I'm talking about. We'll remember this feeling, and he's going to be stronger for it.
Did you give much consideration to going for 2 there?
Thought about it, yeah. Thought about it. Probably what played a little bit of a factor was, our goal-to-go situations hadn't gone very clean. Our inside the 5 plan hadn't worked out quite like we had hoped. And so just felt better about taking our chances there in overtime.
And what was your viewpoint on the last interception from Caleb, both through his lens and the route that
I'll have to see it. I stand behind the defense a little bit, so I did see space. I saw grass. And then the guy, I didn't see that defender from my perspective, and so I'll have to see it. But I did think as the play was going on, I was like, oh crap, we got something. But great play by that player.
Then how do you make sure that the special feeling that you guys have now can carry over to something tangible next season? Yeah,
that'll be something that next season's next season. I mean, it's a whole different group. It's a whole different chapter. It's we'll have to write a whole brand new story, and so. That's the thing about this is you put in all this work and you sacrifice and you trust the people around you, and you can't take any shortcuts. So I wish I could say that this is momentum from year one. We'll take it. That it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I honestly, I don't even want to talk about next year yet. There'll be a time and a place for it, but we're still hurting. We had a great opportunity here this year to make a name for ourselves, and I'm proud that we were able to get to this point, and still disappointed that we fell short.
How do you assess what Caleb is right now, where you see these phenomenal plays that you can't coach, but you and him both talk a lot about a significant list of things where he can still improve and get a lot better?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten so much better over the course of the season. I can say that from being the play caller. The coaching staff would say that. I think his teammates would tell you the same thing. He's going to continue to ascend. His comfort level in what we were doing has gotten better each and every week. There's plays every week that go from us talking about over the course of the week, and he just brings it to life on game day. So I'm very encouraged about where he's at. I think we're going to be able to watch this tape from this first year together, and I expect us to really learn from a lot of things and be better next year.
And what do you think about the defensive effort today? A lot of people how would Stafford could do this defense, but they really came.
Yeah, no, I thought that's the shame. That's part of the shame. I mean, our defense played their tails off. They did. I thought they did a great job. That's the number one offense in football, both yards and points. And I thought Dennis and the defensive coaching staff, they had a great plan. They got weapons all over the place on the perimeter, but also that running game is very efficient and it can wear on you. And so They pose a lot of problems, and yet our guys did a nice job taking the plan, bringing it to life. I thought they played with great emotion. I thought they played hard throughout that game, and they certainly had us in it the whole time.
You mentioned the troubles, like the goal in those situations didn't go the way you wanted to. Do you feel like that was an execution issue on your guys' part, or do you feel like that was something they were doing on defense, or some sort of mixture of the two?
I'll go back and look at that tape. I don't know that I was necessarily surprised by anything from what they were doing. But once again, they play very sound. They play violent. We've been saying that all week, particularly about their front, and they did a good job. They earned that, and we didn't.
Ben, Caleb is typically careful with the ball. Is it something that the Rams were doing, or just was it kind of jitters for him, or what do you attribute it to?
No, I mean I would go back and I'll look at all 3 interceptions, but no, I thought I didn't think he had any jitters or anything like that. I thought he was the normal Caleb that I've grown accustomed to, and like I said, those guys made plays and we didn't.
And how did you arrive at your decision on the left side of the line, and how did you feel like that worked out?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of that was predicated on you get going in the tape, and you see a guy like Verse on their side, and the type of rusher that he is. He's very powerful. He's very violent. He was that way coming out of college, and that's translated to the NFL, and it showed up all over the tape where he's taking tackles and just driving them straight back on the quarterback's lap, and we wanted to we just thought Joe had a great anchor, and he was going to be able to help us in that regard. And so credit to him. Of course, he's done it, and he's willing to do whatever is necessary to help the team win. So got a great group like that.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you.
All right, back here on CHGO Bears Postgame Show. Adam Hoge, Corey Wootton, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs. Whole group's back together. I don't know why my mic keeps falling over. It's been doing this all night.
Blink twice if you're okay, Braggs.
Right?
I'm all right.
I thought that was a remarkable postgame presser for the season being over.
He is. If anybody's worried about him not being grounded in reality, you can put that to rest.
But I thought he handled that like he answered the questions. He answered the tough questions. He didn't have any red ass. I mean, he was still, even though he didn't want to, able to reflect on like kind of what they actually accomplished, what he said about Caleb being like, you know, what he accomplished this year, how much better he got, like, and that's where I'm kind of at, because if these two make the same jump they made, I'm not even talking about since he got hired. I'm talking about since like late August.
Sure.
It looked bad. And the progress that they made to this point leaves you where, like, if they can have a whole offseason together and really dial in on what went right and what went wrong and what can be better, and I don't know. I just and there was a lot of insightful things there. The couple things we haven't talked about yet. His decision to not go for 2. It's one of the best answers to a controversial question I've ever heard. Yeah, we were terrible in short yardage situations tonight, especially inside the 5-yard line. Yep. That's why we didn't go for 2. Great answer. Yeah. Great logic.
And you got the ball.
I don't blame him.
Right. Yeah. And you got the ball back in overtime.
Yeah, and you had your chance in overtime. Good for Ben on that one. I mean, okay, good answer, no argument. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? That's yeah, you could have run a play and it might have worked, and maybe you're headed to Seattle right now. But the logic, I care more about the process than the result, and the process there was good. So I think stuff like that, and even his answer on Joe too. We haven't talked. We spent the whole pregame show talking about the left side of the offensive line. That shit worked tonight. It did. Yeah. I mean, that ended up being a good decision. Joe Tooney, left tackle, Jordan McFadden, who I think at 2 o'clock on Saturday, 75% of Bears fans had never heard of?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it worked. So even in the midst of this awful loss, like, Ben still did, and I don't think he had his best game tonight, but I think a lot of the decisions and a lot of the stuff that he does, and even the explanations for them afterward, make you feel good about the future.
Yeah, I mean, it worked because they had a chance to win, but there was also a lot of breakdowns too. So, I mean, they did the best they could. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were.
Caleb wasn't sacked. He was hit 4 times. The run game let's be kind and call it was hit or miss. I mean,
big play.
But that's been the case for a month.
I understand.
Now.
I understand.
I mean, the reality is, this is where it's just, again, just have to be fair to it. Yes, they could have won the game, but Caleb Williams also pulled the miracle of all miracles to even push it to overtime. So it's hard to play the woulda, coulda, shouldas when you talk about, of all the miracles that have happened this year, for Caleb Williams to pull the rabbit out of his hat one more time as the entire line collapses. Everyone's coming, in his face. He's traveling back 20 yards. It's like 50 yards in the air to Cole Kmet, a Hail Mary, essentially, and they come down with it, or else the game's over right there. So, I think two things can be confirmed tonight is you have your coach, you have your coaching staff, and you got a quarterback that does not blink and can pull miracles. But you need to try to win beyond miracles here going forward.
Yeah, and I think people are very critical of Caleb Williams. I mean, anytime the quarterback throws 3 picks, they're going to be super critical. Some of that is him and the receivers not being that comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Because some of those are timing and rhythm throws, and he's throwing it expecting them to be there, and they're not there. So it is a work in progress. I think the sky is the limit for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, like you talked about. The improvement he had from August to where we are at this season. Early on, the first 2 games of the season, I was like, oh, my goodness, this is going to be terrible this season. Then he had the Dallas game. He kept improving. And it's been up and down. But I think the great part is he almost threw for 4,000 yards. He led this team to countless fourth-quarter comebacks, and it's only going to get better. He's got to clean up some stuff, the accuracy, getting on the same page, but that's all going to take some time. It's his second year in the NFL.
They had the most touchdowns in franchise history this year.
I mean,
the most touchdowns in franchise history. And we're talking about an offense that was mostly inconsistent while still being one of the most explosive units in football. So
people want perfection. That's really what it is.
100%.
People want perfection.
Well, understandable.
And let's look at Josh Allen, right? You could say he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He cannot get over the hump. Right? In that game, he had Knox wide open. Couldn't hit him.
Yeah, he played poorly.
Right? He played poorly. Yeah. Turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. People are going to make mistakes in this game. Right? It's how you overcome it. Matthew Stafford, one of the best on the play. He didn't play well tonight.
Yeah.
Right? So we can make an argument all day. The quarterback is the problem or this. There's so many different things, and I don't think it's on the quarterback. If we're talking about the offense, I think this game is on Ben Johnson. I don't think it's on the quarterback.
I don't think when it comes to the quarterback part of the conversation, I don't think there's any doubt that Caleb earned a lot more respect in that locker room than he had from the end of last season through training camp till to now. I think the fact that when he got a game ball last week and the room is chanting ice, that's a big deal. I mean, the belief in him has grown. Most importantly, by the guys in that locker room, which is a big deal. And Ben saying, in the Ben part of this is very grounded. That whole press conference, as far as there's no momentum going from one season to the next. This, he's not sitting there talking, throwing flowers into the air, saying like we can just build on this, and I can't wait for next year. And that's not what he's saying. This is the last time this group will be together. It's a completely different situation next year. So, and he also, when he has to sit down and plan for it, you have to be confident he's going to in the guy that's leading the way.
The future in Chicago is bright. I think we could all see that.
Yeah, it is. But I appreciate Ben's messages there too, because the one of the reasons why this league, and Kevin Kaduk said it to me, like when I walked off the set for half a second after the Hail Mary. Are we calling that a Hail Mary? Basically, it was a Hail Mary, right? Like, he's like, this league just keeps delivering. Like, how does it do it? It's unbelievable. But part of that is like, the roster's changed so much. Just a couple tweaks here and there to a roster can change a team so much. And then the way that this league evolves, sometimes I think even like where they show up in training camp and they might be like, well, this is what I think's going to happen this year. And then all of a sudden you see the Rams run 13 personnel on 35% of their plays. And you're like, what? Like, no one saw that coming. Like, nobody would have thought, not even Sean McVay would have thought that back in July. You know what I mean? And so to that point, like, the roster's changed too much. The trends in this league change too much. You don't really know what you think your schedule is when it comes out in May is never what your schedule actually is by the time you get to September or even by the time you get to October and you see the injuries that those teams have had. And the Bears got some breaks with their schedule this year, if we're being honest with some of the quarterbacks. They didn't have to play Joe Burrow. They didn't have to play Aaron Rodgers. Like, there were some breaks along the way. There's too much variables in this league that you just never know what it's going to look like to just totally be like, yeah, okay, we're on the right track. This is what it's going to be. You don't know that.
Sure. But I know we got Jahns coming on, but Caleb is the type of quarterback. There's plenty of quarterbacks you can game plan against. But what Caleb does, the special that he brings is you cannot game plan for.
It's the closest thing we've seen to Aaron Rodgers in a long time. Honestly, what he can do with his feet, throwing off the run, some of the throws. Mm-hmm. He has to clean up some of the accuracy issues. I think Aaron Rodgers had a little bit more accuracy from the beginning. But the playmaking ability, when he scrambles across his body throwing these dimes, you're kind of like, wow. Right. That's the closest thing we've seen to prime Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, a few years ago when we're at the Combine and Ryan Poles is making the decision to draft Caleb Williams, he said there was a little bit of Patrick Mahomes in Caleb Williams. And there might have been egg on his face for saying that last year, but nobody's questioned that anymore. He found that Mahomes special, and what made Mahomes and the Chiefs win Super Bowls, plural, was their dominant defense. And so, hey, all the talk about Max Crosby, maybe it's Chris Jones that comes here next year. You don't know. But all I know is that's going to be what gives your offense a margin of error is having that kind of defense.
All right, let's go out to Soldier Field and bring in our guy, Adam Jahns, as we get to talk to him post-game.
He owes us double time now.
Johnsy, take us through, let's just start in the locker room and just the temperature of the disappointment and the main thing that stood out, I guess, from the post-game of obviously guys that are laid it all out there but came up short.
Well, I think there is definitely a level of sadness, and how could there not be? This was a magical season. Multiple players described it as a special season. Ben Johnson said it himself. It's been a special year, and I think we can all agree with that. With all the fourth quarter comebacks, all the steps forward that Caleb Williams took this year, all the heroicism. I feel like every week there was a new hero coming about for the Chicago Bears, whether it's special teams, offense, or defense. You just had playmakers showing up at the most crucial of times. But there was a level of sadness. Definitely. You hear it all the time. The NFL is that not-for-long league, and things change. And there's a few players coming out of contract. And you had those feelings. You had those questions come up already. Like, do you want to be here next year? Do you see yourself as part of this team next year? That includes Jaquan Brisker. That includes Kevin Byard. This team's going to change. And multiple players brought that up at different times in different interviews in that locker room. So as exciting as this season was, that level of sadness because the changes on the horizon, that started to settle in for a few players.
Johnsy, I guess we should start with just the way they still managed to come back in a game they lost. Like, what's weird is they still had that moment. But I go back to the start of the game, and I brought this up at the start of the show. They had 7 possessions where they could have taken a lead in this game. 8 if you include, technically they could have gone for 2 on the last one, but kind of throwing that situation out because they did score. 7 possessions, and they only scored 1 field goal on all those possessions. I know you were on this a couple weeks ago where you were kind of defending the defense a little bit and saying, more is needed from this offense. And it almost seemed like time ran out on the offense a little bit here tonight, whether it was the injuries up front, the attrition, the drops, that success rate that really hasn't been as high as you want it to be this season. What did you gather from the locker room that kind of reflected the missed opportunities on offense this tonight?
All right. Well, let's start at the end since you brought up that first. I think everybody in this press box, everybody in this stadium, and probably everybody in that locker room thought the Bears were going to win after Cole Kmet, caught that touchdown pass. How it still got to him, it's unbelievable. That throw just floated in the air for such a long period of time. What Cole Kmet called it a pop-up, and he just had to field it like he was in the outfield, and the defensive back lost that. I think everybody in this stadium thought the Chicago Bears were going to win the football game after they tied it up. Going into overtime, they get the quick stop by the defense. They had the momentum. You believed that they were going to win. And I think the Bears had that belief as well. As you start to analyze this game, yes, I think this game is full of missed opportunities, whether it's drops and whether it's passing up on points early in the game. But I think a lot of these things are what we discussed maybe throughout the year. Ben Johnson's decision-making, the guts he shows to go for it more on fourth down than I think Chicago is used to. That's Ben Johnson. That's what he does. That's how he likes to play. And I think everybody in Chicago might have to get used to it. Maybe that changes next year, but I'm not sure, Adam. You and I have talked about that. This is just part of who he is, and we have to get kind of used to the way he bets on himself and bets on his team on fourth down. The drops, I want to say the weather was a factor. I really do. It was cold. He's probably throwing a heavy ball out there. Maybe it felt like a rock for some of these players. But at the same time, guys, we know drops have been a storyline all season. That starts with Rome Odunze's drop right at the goal line there. Like, that has to be a catch that is made, especially at this point in the season with everything on the table. The short yardage situation, I feel like the run game problems are like a new issue that's shown up over the past few weeks, but you saw it today when the Bears needed 1 or 2 yards, they just couldn't deliver. Ben Johnson bemoaned his short yardage package, his 5 and short game plan. It didn't work against the Rams today, but yeah, there's a lot to get to through this game, and I know we'll get to it this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. I don't think Ben Johnson's aggressiveness is going anywhere anytime soon. That's just his identity as a play caller. That being said, we're going to have plenty of offseason to talk about some big decisions here from a roster standpoint. But one of those decisions in particular, Jaquan Brisker and the safety position. Jaquan had a hell of a night tonight. Did you have a chance to talk to him, or, what was your perspective on a big night from Jaquan?
Braggs, I thought this was Jaquan Brisker's best game that I think I've covered in the Chicago Bears tenure. He was flying all over the field. He was solid in coverage. He was combative in coverage. He was making plays on the ball. He was filling alleys. He was physical where you needed him to be. I thought this was one of his best games that I think I've covered. Maybe his best game as a Chicago Bear in the divisional round of the playoffs. So just an outstanding way to deliver in the most crucial of moments. But, you talk to, the sense when you talk to Jaquan Brisker is maybe this was it. I think my most lasting vision from the locker room today is that locker room was near empty. And there's still one player in that locker room still sitting in his locker, still in his jersey, his blue pants and his blue jersey. And it was Jaquan Brisker. He was still getting untaped. He did multiple interviews, but that locker room cleared out fast. But Jaquan Brisker, maybe sensing that this was it, maybe his last time in this locker room, was still in his jersey, still in his pants, still sitting in his locker room stall, kind of soaking it in as players left, to go meet their families. I would safely say he was the last player in that locker room.
And we have a little bit of footage here from Jaquan Brisker and some of the footage you caught of him in the locker room. Here it is now.
I mean, it was just win or go home. We're at home. I don't want to lose. I want to win. I want to give all my teammates my energy, my passion, whatever I can, give them on the field. Just never know when it's your last play, so just try to give it up my all.
Well, how do you explain the
ball goes through the upright? How do you feel? You see their sideline.
I honestly couldn't believe it. I thought he was gonna miss it, especially being cold, especially windy, snowy. He missed one in Seattle. I don't know if we had any timeouts or anything. I thought we were gonna try to ice him, but or get a block. Either or, I thought he was gonna miss it, but when it went through, that was our season right there. That's gonna be the last time. A lot of these players are gonna be in the same locker room together and things like that. That's why I really thought it could be my last. You never know. So I just took a knee down there and just sat there. That was crazy.
You guys got a lot of stops on the win.
So he's living in reality right there. Could be my last, and Byard's a free agent too. What type of market is he going to have? Are the Bears have a lot of needs? Do they have the money available to pay him? Kevin's been a phenomenal leader in the locker room, led the league in interceptions. I mean, what? This is an off-season question, Johnsy, but what do you think happens with the safeties?
But you can see the offseason kind of settling in with Jaquan Brisker. You can see it that it's on his mind. Like, he brought that up unsolicited, and he was later asked about his future. It's probably in another segment there, but like, I think you can sense the finality that this could be it for Jaquan Brisker as a Chicago Bear. And I think this speaks to the message that a lot of players, whether it's Cole Kmet, Kevin Byard, or Jalen Johnson, that this team is going to change. And they thought they had a special bond. They thought they had a special thing going. But that's all going to change next year. Kevin Byard, just like a Jaquan Brisker, said that he wanted to be here next year, but they understand the business side of the NFL. Both of them would be it would be surprising if both of them returned. Deshaun Wright's a free agent. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's a free agent. So that secondary, which I would argue was a strength for a good stretch of this season for the Chicago Bears, is on the verge of major changes. And you don't like hearing players talk about that, but you could get a sense when you talk to them enough that it kind of settles in, the reality of the changes ahead, because the NFL, it moves quickly, fellas. We know that.
Jahns, what was your view of the overtime interception, and what did you learn after the game about what did happen or didn't happen?
Have you guys played Caleb yet?
No, we have not.
So it was a miscommunication. That's how he described it between him and DJ Moore. DJ Moore continued to go high, and he expected DJ to flatten that route, kind of towards the sideline to where he threw it. We saw Luther Burden coming up the sideline there as well. DJ Moore, I didn't speak to him. I didn't see him in the locker room after the game much. I'm not sure if others did either, but obviously something was wrong on that play. Ben Johnson said himself he has to go back and watch it, but to hear Caleb explain it, DJ continued his route high. He threw it, hoping or anticipating that DJ would flatten his route, but that didn't happen.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot here, Jahns, but watching the play in live action or watching the replay, whether he could have flattened his route or went high with it, I think a lot of the discrepancy from fans is it didn't feel like he really ran the route or finished the route. What was your perspective on DJ's effort on that play?
See, that's an example where I think I have to go watch it again. And I want to hear from DJ Moore himself explain what he's supposed to do on it. And I want to hear Ben Johnson explain like what the progressions are supposed to be on something like that. I think context is needed before we start throwing certain players under the bus for effort or for certain miscommunications. Obviously, one happened there, but I think it's best that we hear DJ Moore's side of things on it. To me, just in general, like I don't want to say it felt forced, but I like looking at it. I don't think Kyle Monangai was open as a check down. Maybe it's just a bad play where you have to throw the ball away, but you felt like the Bears had some momentum there. You felt like they could win. The belief was in this building, and that sucked the entire energy out of this of Soldier Field tonight.
Jahns, let's talk about the defense side of the ball. Dennis Allen and his adjustments after that first drive. Kind of talk about what he did, with that defense, especially holding Matthew Stafford and company in regulation to 17 points. 20 points total in that game, under 400 yards, probably one of his worst performances of the season. Talk about that, the defense. And
I thought he had a great day. Yeah, I thought DA had a great day. Braggs, he did what you hoped he would do. He had C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon on the field at the same time, and he went after Matthew Stafford with that look. We saw Kyler Gordon he blitzed and he got a sack out of it, and I think it just gave him an advantage, just the level of surprise, like who's coming, who's going. I like the aggressive attack. I think he used the weather to his advantage as well. At one point, I thought the snow and the conditions were really bad for both offenses. But you would think that the way this defense was playing, that the offense would deliver more points. I felt like the defense stood its ground more often than not. I thought the secondary had a good day. I thought really the entire unit had a good day. And it starts with Dennis Allen. But I like the creativity. I like using those two nickelbacks on the field at the same time because I think it confused Sean McVay, one of the best play callers in the game, because that's something the Bears have never done all season, is use those two players on the field because they never had an opportunity to do that until the past couple weeks.
Do you think Ben had a good day today? How much do you put on Ben? We're having this Woots leaning into some Ben issues here.
Yeah.
Carm, they scored 17 points, right? 17 points is the final for them. So what do you think the answer is? I mean, he'll tell you himself Absolutely not. It wasn't enough. He praised his defense after the game, and his offense, which has delivered explosive play after explosive play and has put up points. What were they averaging? Almost 30 points per game. Did not produce at home in the playoffs. So I think Ben Johnson himself would tell you that he wasn't good enough tonight against the Los Angeles Rams.
No, Jahns, there's a famous story that Peter King has told many times about the Oilers-Bills game back in the 90s when the Bills came all the way back, where members of the Houston Oilers were booking their flights to the next round of the playoffs before blowing the lead. Sources here at CHGO tell me that you had already booked a flight to Seattle.
I did.
Would you like to take responsibility for what happened tonight?
I don't believe in that type of karma. I believe in good planning. That's how you have to be aggressive.
You can always get a refund or credit, right? Tell 'em.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, it is one of those things, Jahns, and I'm a very superstitious fan, no question about that. But it does become a thing with teams you believe in that the superstitions kind of start to go out the window. And for me as a Cubs fan in 2015, you're wearing the same outfit, you're hanging out with the same people, you don't want to move a muscle as they beat the Cardinals in the playoffs and try to find their way to a World Series. Maybe they're a year too early. But then that next season, that team did not blink. They lost Schwarber in the first 3 games of that season, and yet they continued to just steamroll through the year. Again, it's baseball, totally different thing. But I just know from a fan standpoint, that fan base who had been just hit so many times with so many heartbreaking seasons and so many outlier seasons, that year they stacked off of 2015 and then came into 2016 with a sense of we're going to finish the job. And when they got back to the playoffs that year, that was one of the first times in my life since the Jordan days that fans were walking into Wrigley Field without superstitions and no worry and an understanding this team's going to do it. And so I just hope that that's what this team can become, is to stack what they've done this year and stop hoping for miracles, stop worrying about superstitions, and push all that. Book your trip to the Super Bowl next year, because that's what this team is capable of. But it's a mindset thing at the end of the day.
Well, the expectations have changed. Jalen Johnson, I asked him, like, what has Ben Johnson built in year one here? And his answer was short and succinct: a winning football culture. And I think that's what the Chicago Bears have here. You know, good, better, best. We can have fun with all of that. You know, it's on T-shirts and whatnot. But the expectation, Braggs, you're right, will be different for next year. You're going to expect playoffs. You're going to expect a longer postseason run. You're going to expect improvement from the offense, particularly Caleb Williams. You're going to expect, Ben Johnson to learn from his mistakes, especially in a game like this, because this is his second game as a head coach in the playoffs. That's a lot on his plate as a first-time head coach. So I think there's a lot of good things that you could take from this season, and that vibe was in the locker room. I did mention the sadness, but I do believe that the players, especially the ones that that are coming back, whether it's Jalen Johnson or Cole Kmet or Darnell Wright, they believe that something has been built here, something they can build upon in the following season, starting next year. And to make your point about the Chicago sports, we've seen it before. You mentioned the Cubs, the Blackhawks, in 2009 going to 2010. They had the same vibe going, where they had a long postseason run. It was heartbreaking. But the next year, expectations were higher. They believed in themselves. They believed that they were going to make a postseason run and something better, and it happened in 2010. So maybe we're looking ahead too much here, after this game, but I'm sure some of that narrative, some of that vibe will exist in the summer, especially going in the training camp.
Hey, for us old hats around here, there was 84. They beat Washington. Todd Bell smoked the living daylights out of Joe Washington. Then they went to San Francisco, got their brains beaten in. Of course, McMahon was hurt, and that set up Super Bowl 85. This was different, though. The Bears, you didn't leave that game thinking they should have won. Today you do, but regardless, I do think that team is going to have a lot of there's no reason that they won't have a lot of confidence going into next season, and it'll be a huge challenge to build
it's something I'm going to bring up here on Brick by Brick after show coming up after this show with Briggs. In 2005, they lose to Steve Smith and the Panthers in the first round. And that was a miracle season. They had a lot of things go their way, and then Steve Smith just, killed them at home, going down the fire pole, 2 touchdowns. But then they come back that next year, and they're talking Space Mountain, right? And that was the message going into that season. They also had Devin Hester join that team, so if we get Devin to come back next year, that might help their chances as well. But I'm just saying, the message was Space Mountain, and they were able to get all the way to the Super Bowl and just fall short. But, everybody's going to point to outlier seasons that didn't work out the year after, but I think there are as many examples in Chicago and nationally of teams that built off of success.
Johnsy, great stuff all season long. Your first was CHGO. We were better every day with you, buddy, so no pressure, but you better elevate yourself going into next year and in the offseason and everything else you do, because we need you to be good, better, best every day, really, so no pressure.
So the next step is the better. I got you, Carman. I got you covered.
We know you do.
Yep. We got Hoge and Jahns tomorrow, by the way.
Great year for Jahns. His first year here with CHGO Bears.
Every time I promote Hoge and Jahns, I get interrupted.
Yeah.
It's messed up. We're
you didn't say that.
I was just giving him his first year.
It was a pretty solid effort.
You've been here 4 years, and they sucked. Jahns was here for 1 year, and they get to the playoffs. Thank you, Jahns.
How many years have you been here?
The same amount of years.
Well, that's my fault. Exactly. All right, 9 a.m. tomorrow live. Hoge and Jahns will have all your voicemails. It should be good. Johnsy, get some sleep. We'll see you in the morning.
Good night, boys.
We're also going to have a special CHGO Bears show for you tomorrow because we got locker room clean out day, and Johnsy and Pat will be there and sending in a bunch of video that we'll play here.
What time is clean out?
It's not totally confirmed, so I don't want to mislead anybody, but it sounds like it's going to line up pretty well with our show.
Okay,
if we're talking about programming tomorrow, I have moved up after dark to 5 p.m. Centrals to make way for the national championship.
That's big.
I'm not going up against the national championship tomorrow.
Yeah, but that game's already over. Indiana.
I agree.
Indiana already covered the spread.
But
it's
locker room clean out day is the worst.
Should we hear
that
from
big
Caleb
old
before
trash bag and you don't know what's gonna happen.
Tony
man.
Medlin sitting at the table with the 2 other guys.
Come on, big guy. Make sure you're giving your stuff, big guy.
All right, we're gonna hear from Caleb before we get out of here, right?
We are.
You don't want to hear from Caleb?
We can save a brick by brick. It's up to you guys.
You can save a brick by brick, whatever. All right, we'll figure it out. We got a break. At Sunnyside, and yes, you know what? It's a perfect time of the year for a visit to Sunnyside, one of their stores, or just check them out online. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate the rest of your football season, and they are your home for judgment-free shopping. They've got the crazy selection for you, 100 different strains to choose from, and the easy online ordering and or in-store pickup. Tons of locations all across Illinois, down south to Champaign, all around the city, in the suburbs. The beautiful one in Deerfield on Milwaukee and Deerfield Road. Love that one. This is what you do. You go to the website, and then you put in the code HICHGO, and you get 50% off your first 3 online purchases. HICHGO, 50% off. Sunnyside Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders.
Hey, you either got your protein goals or you don't, and you probably should. We get it. It's busy. I'm busy. I have these days, especially like tomorrow after a Bears game. I might forget to eat breakfast or something because I got whatever it is. That's where this comes into handy right here. This is Huel and their high protein drinks. They have the high protein starter kit, which we highly recommend here. 35 grams of protein in this thing, 27 essential vitamins and minerals. It's gluten-free. It's under $5 per meal. Yeah, this is a meal. This is a meal right here.
This is a heavy bottle.
And
good stuff in here.
It's really good. Chocolate flavor right here. And this is a limited time offer right now. You can get Huel's full high protein starter kit today with our exclusive offer here. It's 20% off online with our code here, Bears20 at Huel.com/Bears20. Bears20 is your code, Huel.com, Bears20. It's new customers only, and this is going to make hitting your protein goals a lot less stressful, I promise.
Hey, good looking.
I thought you were about to sing the Beatles there.
Hey Jude could have been good. I was going to do, hey, get rhythm. When you've got the blues, come on and get a rhythm.
Carmonica.
Then you've got the blues. All right, Johnny Cash probably doesn't belong on this show, but we need to lighten up a little bit. Why don't we hear from the quarterback and react to what Caleb had to say? The Iceman wrapping up his second season, didn't have the night that he wanted, but certainly a season to be proud of. And I would think that this guy going into year 3 is feeling awful confident where he's headed, where the team's headed. Here's Caleb Williams.
Let's get it going.
On that final throw, interception, what did you see? And what did you expect to happen?
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch it. Obviously, haven't seen it and don't really know. But from in the moment, saw the front side safety down, the front side of the concept. Ended up getting hemmed up a little bit, and so moved on and had DJ going over top over all of it. Just a miscommunication between him and I. Tried to flatten him off under the safety, and he kept it vertical from what I saw on obviously in the moment.
Caleb, how do you describe the suddenness of this, of being on this joyride and it's just over?
Yeah, it's tough. Being in that locker room, the best moments is being in that locker room after games and after wins, and being with the guys that you all have a common goal. You all sacrifice family time, and things like that, and all that you sacrifice to be in this position, to be in those moments, and so it's tough, and so in these moments you feel that you let your team down, or you feel that you this or that, and it's a good lesson learned for us. First time being in this situation for me and for us as a team, and I'm excited for what's to come. But obviously, going to go back and watch this and figure out how I can be better, and that's the exciting part.
Hey, on the tying touchdown pass, when you are scrambling for 10-plus yards, back to it, what are you thinking during that time? Any idea what you're going to see when you turn around?
I end up getting a little bit of pressure, and so try and break contain and just break angles and slow those guys down so that when I do turn around, I can have a little bit more time possibly to be able to find somebody. And they did a good job containing me, and so I just gained a little bit more depth. And I saw Cole one-on-one over there with everybody else on the other side, at least near the goalpost. I understanding that 14 was on him. He's a little bit smaller guy, and Cole's obviously a 6 foot. Tight end and things like that. So I just wanted to give him my best ball and give him a shot. Understand it's 4th down and kind of game on the line. Was game on the line.
Can you appreciate? I know it's tough now, obviously, with how important is the win or loss. Can you appreciate what you did with that throw and what Cole did and just the moment you provided?
It was cool in the moment, but I will say I can appreciate. The organization, the city of Chicago. I can appreciate the sacrifice, the growth that we've had as a team, and I can appreciate the growth that I've had, the trust that I've built with Ben and the other my other teammates and things like that. So those are probably the things that I can appreciate.
Did you think that you would have another? I was just going to say after that play, did you think here we are engineering another comeback and? Did you kind of envision how this was going to end because you guys have had so many comebacks?
Yeah, you obviously you want to be on the better side of it, so you're envisioning, all good things, and the moment you're envisioning, going out and winning and putting up the game-winning either field goal or touchdown and things like that. So yeah, you envision it, especially after that moment. You want to, like I said, you want to have those positive things in your mind in those moments to be able to go out there and try and win a game.
All of these late comebacks all season. What does this mean for next year? What does this mean for what you can do? Do you think of it as momentum, or is every year its own thing?
Every year it's its own thing. But I will say the core of this team, the young players, obviously the players that have some longer contracts and things like that. We got a good core that the organization's done a good job of building. And so, the growth that we've had and things like that, is going to be enjoyable. We're going to be here for a little bit. And so I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the growth. I'm excited about being able to go back and watch this. I'm excited about being able to get back and next year being able to learn more than I did this year and keep growing and us as a team and organization to be able to keep growing.
You mentioned the trust that you built up with Ben.
Mhm.
How do you describe the strength of where your relationship is versus where it was when you walked into the building in April?
Yeah, it's grown tremendously, and that's something that I wanted to do. That's something that was very important for me, because I want to be here for a while, and I know he wants to be here for a while, and just being able to attack our relationship and bond and trust between each other was really important for us to be able to help be in this position as a team, and to be able to be in this position many times in the future.
Caleb, with the way the fans and the whole city.
There he is, Caleb Williams, after the ball game. Interesting in the back end there, just talking about, there's a bunch of us young guys who are going to be here a while.
Which is true.
And they're going to grow together. So that's you, Colston Loveland. That's you, Luther Burden. That's you, Kyle Monungai. Drew Dahlman's got a significant contract. Joe Tooney, maybe, he's one more year. There's an extension perhaps coming there, right?
He already got his extension.
He's
got 2 years now left.
Okay, 2 years left. Okay.
Yeah. With him, I think that's more how long is he going to keep playing?
Darnell Wright's a big decision they'll have to make at some point.
Well, I think he earned that. Yeah, and they had the 5th-year option. So,
a lot of decisions this offseason.
Yeah, we got
as per always.
We got the good thing for you guys is we don't go anywhere. So we got locker room clean out day tomorrow. We got Tuesday. We'll solve the entire offseason in one day, and then we'll do shows every day. We'll be at the Super Bowl in a few weeks, even though the Bears won't. I suspect some of those players will make it out there for Radio Row and all that. Then 2 weeks after that will be the Combine, and then
free
next
agency.
thing you know, it'll be the draft,
free agency,
and Steven will get a nap in May. It'll be great.
He'll be golfing a lot too.
Yeah. Oh, he'll still find it.
That's why you want to hit. That's why you want to hit the subscribe button for all your off-season football needs.
I have an idea. Is Jake still here? He's probably
Jake.
still watching. I think after this season, we should do a week of shows in, I don't know,
Hawaii.
That's I think we all we'll still work, but I think we deserve to be in a place where we can play golf. Yeah. And if we're going to Hawaii, I'll surf a little bit. Yeah. I'll find some sea turtles.
Surf and turf.
Well, I'm going to San Diego in the middle of February.
Good for you.
So I was thinking about taking the Amtrak out there just to be by myself for 2 days.
It's a weird thing to do when you can fly there in 4 hours.
I know, but I'm thinking about going 2-day Amtrak. So if we could just do a weekend show that weekend, because I'm thinking about leaving on Friday and just getting.
I've heard that Amtrak across the country is crazy.
No,
the views you get.
Yeah, some good views. Hang out.
Yeah.
Just watch all the shows for the year. Maybe rewatch some games. Call Greg 10
People
times.
next year are gonna be like, "What is that harmonica that keeps going off?"
Play the harmonica in the bar car. Is that what it's called?
I forget exactly which towns that route goes through. I've looked it up before, believe it or not. But let's say it's like Denver. Why don't you fly to Denver and then take the
Doesn't
train
go to Denver, go south.
Regardless, then whichever.
Fly to Arizona? That's not the
No. Not that.
The point is that I want to get on the train.
You skip the boring part, but in the Midwest.
Nothing. I see. That's where I need this time. It's going to be good for you. I'm just wondering if I can do a show while I'm on the train.
I'm fully just take the train.
You don't. You're
one-way train.
You're hoping for a little crash situation? No return?
No,
it's okay. It's okay.
No crash. Just take the train.
Take the train, right?
You don't need to join the show.
Bus back.
Don't you think I'll be better? Don't you think I'll come back more refreshed? 2 days on the train. It's a 4 to 8 hour ride.
This sounds great.
Does it sound
amazing? What does Jackie think about this?
She's like, I told you I would take the train to Minnesota, which is a thing.
I've done that.
But she's like, you want to really be on the train for 2 days? I'm like, I kind of do. Because, life never stops. But if you got on the train for 2 days, life stops. What else can you do? There's nothing to do. You just sit there. Look out the window. I'll call you and be like, Woot, I miss you. I'm in Montana or wherever this thing goes.
That's not on the way to San Diego. You got on the wrong train.
I'm going to put you to
that
voicemail.
That one goes to Seattle.
I'm in Kansas City. Woot, where are you? St. Louis. I just missed you.
That's your play. Fly to Kansas City, get some barbecue, then get on the train from there.
No, what you're going to do, now that the season's over, is you're going to learn how to play that stupid thing. And not just breathe, breathe
way
into
too
it.
high.
I was just trying to.
Not just huff and puff into it.
Huff and puff.
You're going to learn to play it.
Huff and puff.
Maybe that'll be your new name this offseason.
That's your name.
I'm just call you Huff and Puff.
That's you in that damn harmonica.
Brick by brick, Huff and Puff.
If you don't learn to play
Can I
that
get a
thing-
Huff and Puff show for next year?
If you don't learn to
We
play
need
that
to get
thing-
the supers, and I'm going to start.
Huff and puff,
So I don't
Sunnyside.
forget, I'm going to do this off the top. So we had a little bit of a crash situation earlier in the show, and we actually lost the supers from the beginning part of the show. But we have some awesome people here, like Sarah, that went back and hunted those down from the stream and sent them to me. So
That wouldn't happen on Huff and Puff.
if you sent a big money super chat, you go Huff and Puff later, okay? Check out Sunnyside and Huff and Puff all you want. So a big money super chats from earlier. I got them right here. So thanks to Josh, $20 super, says, I hope Ben learns from this year. His play calling and crunch time has not been great. Can always be bailed out. Deep balls when you don't need it. Poor run calls outside. I hope the wide receivers learn these route trees by next year.
Trust in Ben.
You know, to his credit, Ben talked about in the postseason how much like Caleb bailed him out at times.
Said that again on the postgame show.
Yep. KC49938, $20 super. Let's be proud. What a season. What a quarterback. Goonies never say die.
Shout out Goonies.
Man's Made Media, $20 super. Man, regardless of how it ended, the season was a blast, growth, fight, something to actually build on. Proud of this team. Proud to be a Bears fan. Bear down.
Way to be proud. Say it loud, say it proud.
The Reverend Scuderi says, while there were things left on the field, I'm proud of our boys, especially on D. Give us another year under Ben and add an edge, and we're a force.
All right.
And our guy, Jarode, $40, 20
Ireland.
euros. I'm sorry, 20 euros. Don't know the conversion rate, but two words, bear down. So those are the big money supers we lost earlier in the show. Oh, there's two more. Sarah's sending in a couple more here. We got Nutella happens.
Nutella.
$50. Toyota Big Money Super. Oh, you got that one. I'll continue being the resident DJ Moore hater in Super Chats. He's the highest paid player on the team, but continues to quit on routes where he isn't wide receiver one on the play. Maybe it's still an interception if he continues running, but effing run, dude.
Nutella, you do you, man. If you want to hate on DJ, we'll allow you to do it.
I do think finishing on that play would have at least resulted in an incompletion. Yep. Like a minimum, because that ball was bobbled by the DB that caught it. And if there's another wide receiver coming in there and punching it out,
ball comes out.
Then the ball comes out.
I understand this is a what have you done for me lately world, but we are forgetting DJ had some phenomenal catches in the game. The one hand behind him,
Yeah.
That was a great throw, and
the touchdown.
And you maybe you'll remember the fact that he could have batted that ball down more if he had given his full out effort. But to me, that's a chemistry with Caleb that needs to grow, and also reminding you the greatest catch of the season was made by DJ Moore to beat the Green Bay Packers. So,
Yeah.
I mean.
I don't think anybody's disputing that. I think it's just at times his effort is poor.
It's
I mean,
a complicated discussion.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. All right, Austin Moore, $50. No guarantees in life, but we have to hope this run is a massive step for the franchise and that this season becomes the standard moving forward. Bears fans have faith that the next time Caleb finds himself in that moment, he meets it.
Thank you, Austin.
Let's see what else we got. We got Bears Pigeons. Oh, the Pigeons.
The Pigeons for 100.
You know, I got to say, the Pigeons really let us down. They never returned.
flying.
They didn't come through. Fake-ass Chicago Pigeons.
Too cold for the Pigeons.
$100 super. Losses on Ben. I warned you about his aggressiveness. Sure, Caleb can't throw 3 picks. Receivers got to catch. Heck of a game by the defense. But not taking the points cost us the game. Ben's got to learn better situational ball. Derek Brumel, $100 super. Thank you, Derek. Hot take, Williams is the franchise. Always puts it all out for us to win. Odunze, too many drops for the franchise. Cost us a touchdown. Keep DJ Moore.
No, DJ's going nowhere. No one's trading for $25 million a year.
It's like $30 million now.
Yeah, no one's trading for DJ.
Man's Made Media.
Or at least I'd be very surprised.
We might have done. Yeah, I think we did this one. But again, Man's Made Media shouting out the team for a great season. Nice job. We got Peanut Punch down there with $20. Bear down. Real Bears fans, we lost a good game to a good team. We will be back. Us real fans will be here with CHGO. Bear down, baby.
Peanut. Can we get
Carman?
Sure, and I just want to get Nico Suave in here too. I saw even a Nico in here. Guy's been supporting us all year long.
Straight up yawned it.
Yeah, it was a Carman. It's contagious.
Oh, Carman.
Carman.
Yeah,
let me just shout out Nico, who was at the tailgate today. $5. I cry like a damn baby. Pretty sure I'm going to be in the newspaper somewhere. Love you guys. Thanks for an amazing year. Nico, you came to Las Vegas. You've been all around. You've supported us all over the place. We appreciate you. It was great to see you at the tailgate today. I love your energy, and can't wait to see you the next time, and let's have a great offseason. Now to Carms Young, $50. I love you, Carms. I'm not yawning. I'm smiling. Couldn't have asked for a more magical and memorable season. Caleb is him, a one-of-one talent who will take us to even greater heights. Huge thanks to the CHGO team for guiding us all year. The best is yet to come. Bear down. Thank you. Carms yawn for the win.
Michael Shannon, great actor, $50. There is a lot of negativity in this chat. I know this sucks, but this is year one with Caleb and Ben's system. All of us would have taken this outcome at the beginning of the year.
That's
There's
true.
work to do, but the foundation is set with the quarterback and coach. And that's a great point because on this show, I did say that if you ask me, I think we did a show where we talked about ceilings and floors for the season. And I said basically I thought like the best case scenario was that they would make the playoffs and win a playoff game. And I would say that they actually went above that because of who they beat. They beat the Packers in the playoffs. They got over a big hump there. You know, just to beat Green Bay in a playoff game, win 3 out of 4 against your rival, make everybody apparently in the Sean McVay coaching tree hate you.
Good job.
Most overblown storyline I've
Mike
ever heard.
LaFleur gets to walk out of Soldier Field happy. Whatever, Mike LaFleur.
Yeah, whatever. Matt's still at home. Sorry.
I guess,
Whatever.
did we break down the handshake after the game?
I haven't even seen the handshake.
Did that occur
Yeah.
for all the talk last week about that?
You know what, though? That just reminds me of something, and then we'll get a couple supers. Ben's presser, though, I don't want to gloss over this. Matt Nagy was shook after the double doink. That was obvious. And the way Ben, confidently... we saw the fallout of that over the next couple seasons. He let that affect him in a very negative way. And the way Ben handled tonight gives me a lot of confidence that it's just going to be right back to work, not wavering from what they're doing, being obsessed with every little detail, the progress they made this year, what they can fix will get fixed. It's just a different vibe. Am I going overboard with that?
Not at all. I mean, I think I've said it 5 times on this show, and I've certainly said it 5 million times this year. The Bears have found the head coach they've been looking for their entire life. I don't care. You can nitpick. He should have gone for it, didn't go for it, all those things. Dude's a leader. Dude's super smart. Dude connects with his player. Dude's bringing his quarterback along. If you want to worry about things in the offseason, I think the last thing you're worried about is the head coach. The last thing, at least for me.
Yeah, according to the chat, some people are.
That's fine.
I'm not going to lie. I got a fire Ben text tonight.
Great. Okay, who sent it? Call him out right now. Keith?
Yeah.
Fire Ben? Oh, Keith. Be better, Keith.
I think it was you're fired. Maybe he fired me.
Who does he want to hire? You want to fire Ben? You want to bring... Who are we hiring?
He just wrote fired.
Fired.
8:22 p.m. Fired.
$100 super chat from the Iceberg. Thanks for a great season, CHGO. You guys are the
Iceberg,
best.
you're the man. You were awesome
he's
this year.
not
a man. He's
I don't
an
know
iceberg.
if he's an iceberg. He's not a man.
No, the Iceberg was just beyond strong all year long.
Well, he's an iceberg. He took down the Titanic.
Well, yeah. Open locker room tomorrow, 12:15. Hoge.
I know. I got the same text.
Well, you didn't tell the Iceberg, and the Iceberg should know too.
Okay, iceberg. 12:15 open locker room.
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Iceberg
Now
appreciates
you're
that.
informed.
Be there, Iceberg.
Which is what I was saying earlier. We got a 1 o'clock show tomorrow. We'll have all the reaction.
I want to go to the locker room and hang out and let. But okay. Don't you think I should
Will
be
you
there,
just
Steven?
do the meeting after the show and finish the show right now? Dots, 57.
Great candy, a Dot. Underrated.
It's horrible.
Would you ever had a Dot?
Dot candies?
Yeah. Movie theater Dot. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for you.
No.
You're more of a jujube.
What was a
Jujube?
dot
No.
was Caleb throwing the ball to
Mike
Cole
and
Kmet
Ike's.
on the last play. Dot says, great season. Shout out to Ryan Poles for building a strong foundation. We now have a healthy roster and the coach and the quarterback in place for long-term success. Hashtag the Bears. Hashtag FGB. Greg, when can I do a stadium show? When is that going to be allowed?
Have at every day. We can do one every other day.
No, not every day. At least till when? Because I actually have some real information on that.
Get the Mayor Hammond in here so I can yell at him.
Right now, it needs to be more like the governor.
Governor
for
of
what
Indiana?
I'm hearing.
Indiana or Illinois?
Of Illinois.
Yeah, let's get JB in here.
And maybe the president, too, of the team.
All right, let's get him in here.
Let's wrap it
Let's
up.
go, Kevin. I'll solve this thing.
Not a whole lot of communication going on there.
4 more 20-plus. Class Hoge? Class Hog? What up, Class Hog? Would you challenge the Adams catch on LA's TD drive? No football move. Hardly took a step. Didn't survive the ground. Am I missing something? LOL. That's the aggressive decision I want. Love the show, boys. Keep it up. Bear down. We love you, Class Hog. And let me tell you something. It doesn't. Where's Gene Sterator? Get him in there and explain that one like he explained last night.
Yeah, was this the one we were talking about where it was like basically the same play as last night,
Yeah.
but it went the other way?
Yeah.
Well,
So
I tweeted this. Like, we need Al Riveron to come back and point at a shadow like he did on the Zach Miller play in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, how the NFL twists themselves in knots trying to explain the difference between those two plays. I have at it. I can't wait, Walt Anderson. Good luck. All right. Bow tie.
Bow tie.
Bow tie SoFly Gaming. $20. Incredibly unfortunate ending, but what a season. Proud of what they did this year. Excited for what they'll do next season in year 2 of Iceman and Ben.
Bow tie, you know what I like about you? You got your own eclectic look, bow tie.
Ian O'Hare, $20. Love this team. Love you, boys. We were playing with house money going into the offseason, happy. And the inclusive community, we'll wrap up with him. I get the $20. I get the should have gone for the field goal argument, but the game doesn't play out the same exact way. I actually agree with that point. It would have been a different game with a different outcome. We just have to accept the decisions Ben Johnson made. I mean, you don't know, but yeah.
There was a lot of game after that. Get Dr. Bunny in here one more time. Caleb is 75% against the pack. We were 2 games from the Super Bowl. We need to focus on maintaining staff, having some tough conversations with players, and keeping it together. We can do it, Dr. Bunny, keeping it positive. The staff is interesting, who will be sought after and who the Bears will be able to retain if that indeed is the case. I.e., don't lose Al Harris.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can keep him.
Also, it would be nice if the Seahawks just beat the Rams by 50 points next week, so we don't have to think about what could have been.
That would be funny if the Seahawks won it all, because that would be like one more knife to the Vikings.
Oh, for Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're not going anywhere. Well, we kind of are. Right now, we're going to go to sleep. Well, at least 3 of us are. Greg's going to hang out here with Lance Briggs and Jerry Azumah. Brick by Brick After Show's coming up next. Right, Greg?
Right now.
I expect
so everybody that's tuned in,
yes,
better tune into the Brick by Brick After Show, because we got Lance Briggs, Jerry Azumah sitting 10 feet away, and they've been waiting patiently, and you guys need to return the favor by tuning in for them and hearing their analysis, as they have been all into what we do here at CHGO and being great team players. And obviously, Corey, you guys, it's a thrill to be able to talk football with you guys and watch these games with you. But overall, Lance and Jerry have been a lot of these night games here, especially at the end of the year, that they've been great. And so return the favor. Tune in for the show here.
The
tonight.
amount of people behind the scenes here that you guys watching the show don't even realize, we've come a long way in the last 4 years. Because it used to be like 4 of us in here.
Right.
And it's pretty much all hands on deck on these game days. Everybody's embraced it. We realize that these game days are big for the whole city. Obviously, it starts with Steven, our producer. But we got Chloe over here, Sarah, Emma running the social, Jake, Kevin. Who am I forgetting?
Patrick Norton, Adam Jahns, Mark Carman.
But it starts with the tailgates. Everything behind the scenes.
Steven. Right?
Yep.
Stop
Steven.
them.
My wife Krista's here. You'd be proud. She was over there cleaning up the garbage.
God,
she's doing your job.
Thank you, Krista. Thank you.
What was that?
Hey,
you're gonna get fired from director of garbage.
Believe me, I won't. I would like to shout out our guy Woot here, because I don't know how many years it's been now, 3, 4, 5, 2, whatever it is. You're the best, Woot. It's
a lot of fun, man.
You put a smile on our face every time you walk in here. Greatest attitude going, and you kick Braggs' ass whenever he talks. It's really puts a smile on my face, and it's good for him, and he knows it.
You can show up any day and tackle him.
Braggs is that one guy that just has this false sense of, and then every time he tries to test me, you poke the bear a certain amount of times, and all of a sudden you end up on the ground.
Like, Corey, as somebody that grew up, watching you play and really appreciating your game, what I do as a fan,
25 years old.
What I do as a fan, what I do as a fan is I know you're in your elder years now, and so I take the fall to gas you up and make you feel better. That's what that is. So every time you attack me, it might look like I'm getting trounced. It may look like that it's a grown man against my will where I can't stop what's happening to me. But really what it is I'm allowing it because I want you to feel better.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Bro. It's the same thing on the golf course.
Yeah.
I let you win because I want you to
do the same with Hoge?
No, of course not. But for
he
you,
beat you all the time.
just stop it.
Beat you.
All right,
He had
just
that
stop
one
it.
win. That was
It's
it.
an off-season topic. My point is I'm a team player, and I'll take you anytime.
Like right now? No. You're about to get up. Looked like you were preparing to make a move.
Appreciate you guys. It's been a lot of fun as always, and I was hoping to go all the way, and obviously we came up short. But next year's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Next year.
Yes, sir.
Draft party. It'll basically be like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Brick by Brick after shows coming up next. Hoge and Jahns tomorrow 9 a.m. live on the Hoge and Jahns channel. We'll get you covered with locker room cleanout as well. I'm sure we'll have a Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson presser later in the week. It never really stops. You guys know that. It's the NFL, and we're going to have you covered throughout the offseason. So you lock in right now. Hit that subscribe button.
Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock, all off season long. Bears make a move. We're doing a show. So when they sign that big free agent, they trade for Max Crosby, whatever the hell they're going to do, we'll be doing it, obviously. So hit that subscribe button so you'll know when anything is happening right here with the CHGO. Okay, I'll go cry now. It was a great year.
I screwed it up. I hit the...
We'll see all 3,637 of you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Do not be there. We need you for emotional support. Say goodnight, Hoge.
Good night.
Better get out of here.
We all silly like the mayor.